Alright guys, so hopefully you're able to hear me, and hopefully the voice is not cutting. My internet was slow, but it seems to be okay, I guess. So if you're able to hear me, yes. Okay, thank you for that reply. Alright, loud and clear, Colonel. Alright, so let's get going and try to understand where we are and what we need to do. So there was that, start up your machine's GIF file that was shared by Anthony. That's a very good one. Start your engines. So hopefully Baba don't actually shared that. So that's very good. Please start. I hope you may have started your engines way back, like 1-2 days ago. Just kidding. Okay. So let us go ahead and try to check where we are now and what we need to do. So, okay, people are still coming. Admit. Okay, so I'll put that picture there. Okay, so here's the picture, and that will also let us know what we are doing, where we were in the last class. So we were able to deploy the vCenter, and then we created in last class in the vCenter the two data centers. One was Tor DC and the other one was NYDC. And under the Tor DC, we tried to add ESXi hypervisor. So the host one, we tried to add that, and under that, so we don't actually need the two data centers. One data center is enough for us, but just to show that yes, how does it look like when we create two data centers inside the vCenter application. So Brahim is asking in the chat, sir, in production environment, when using iSCSI, we use it with FC or with Ethernet cables. So it's definitely Faber channel, Brahim. It's and the whole equipment should be there, and it's something that well, storage is a separate course as well with storage. So Madhuri, we are done with 3 labs already. You missed it all. We started from 6 o'clock, and yes, it's 6 or 7. We have done 3 labs already. So those were very long labs actually. So samosas to repeat, exactly. Samosa is the currency here, just like Bitcoin. Samosa is also samosa coin. Hey, how about that? Seriously, what's wrong with me? Okay. So no, Mother, you didn't miss anything. We were just talking about. We were just starting. Kheer. Okay, that's even better. Forget samosas, guys. When it comes to kheer, just samosa is no match. So there you go. Okay, so, okay, let's go ahead and we were talking about that. Yeah, ESXi01. So we have already installed, created the data centers, and then we added the 2 hosts. Then just to reach that minimum acceptable environment of virtualization, so at least we must have storage that is coming from over the network, or we must have shared storage over the network. So we create our software SAN. We create 3 disks, we formatted them, and then we converted them to iSCSI one by one, and then we also mentioned the IP addresses of the two hosts. If there were 200 hosts, we would have mentioned the IP addresses of 200 hosts here, that this one disk is available as a LAN for 200 hosts each, right? Each host. So and then we saw also that not only that we shared the three disks. Oops. Okay. Youngton is saying, "Are we recording?" Yes, we are recording. Yay. Okay. Thank you for the reminder. And here, yeah, then not only that we attach the LANs or the shared disks over the network to the two hosts, then we create the data stores on top of that, and we gave carefully the name there. We create a naming convention. So SRV1, this is the source where the storage is coming from, or where the disks actually are, and then DS0 or data store 0, on top of the data store you create virtual machines, and then the data store 0 was actually created on top of the LAN 0, which is just a shared disk over the network coming from server 1, right? So then we created the SRV1 DS1 LAN 1, and then SRV1 DS2 LAN 2. So we just gave a naming convention here, so later we could just track which data store is on which LAN. And obviously it has to be shared storage based data stores. That's gonna be in a professional environment. You can't call it a professional environment if you have local disk based data stores only. You have to have LAN based data stores, logical unit number, or shared disks over the network based data stores, right? So this is where we were in the last class, and we were able to create the data stores. So first we have to check it out if the data stores are actually showing, and then we can go ahead and, in fact, we're going to create a virtual machine on top of that data store. So I'm just going to go down to the environment and just ignore the naming convention if it seems different. So I'm inside server 2 now, and I have since I suspended the machine, so I just unsuspended it. When you unsuspend a vCenter, so it kicks you out, and then you have to kick yourself back in. Wow, what a way to say it. Instead of log in, kick yourself back in, right? So I'm gonna kick myself back in now, and for that I'm just gonna simply refresh, because I unsuspended from suspension this machine, so everything was frozen. Now I'm just going to refresh and just going to say, hey, just put your username and password again. Yay! So I'm just going to put that administrator at vsphere.local, and so it's small abc, capital ABC, shift 123 without shift 123. But at the end of the class, just suspend the machines and you should be okay. You don't have to then wait for 10 to 20 minutes just to start the background services. So it's logging in now. Okay, so we need to confirm if the three ones that we added are actually showing, right? So how do we do that? Where do we go and confirm that? So I'm just gonna, if you are already here, or if you are on, if I click the home button here and then I click the home, so the first screen comes, and from there if I want to navigate ahead, first of all I'm just gonna drag this down here so I could see the rest of the environment, that's the rest of the page. And then on the left side, this is our main area that we're gonna stay here all the time, hosts and clusters, right? So if you're there, you can click that. Otherwise, you must be there already here on inside hosts and cluster, or this area here, right? So then I go for your first name V6I01, and if I click the your first name V6I01, this one here, where you can go ahead and click that. Then on the right side, you can see configure. Actually, you know what? The data stores will be actually showing here, right? So from here, we were able to connect the data stores. In fact, yes, I'm also going there, Shahab. Yeah. So guys, I'm just gonna go to the gray cylinder here. Let's go to the gray cylinder or the storage section here. And once I click the gray cylinder, So I see that the data stores are showing this way. Now Shahab is showing a picture there where TOR-DC data stores are showing inactive, while the NYDC are showing no errors. So inactive would be that we can just try to rescan the data stores whichever is are showing inactive, because they are coming from another server. They are actually mapped from server 1. So over the network, server 1, server 2. So we need to just check it out. How, suppose you do get disconnectivity here, how do you rescan? Where do you go to rescan here? There's a message there. Sandeep says, "Sir, I'm having some issues with Vcenter. Please carry on. I'll catch up." Oh, okay, cool.
So for me, only the HTML5 URL works. This one does not.
Oh, so you tried again and again, and okay. So
So
I hope
can I
you're
still
able to.
go out with the HTML5
Yeah, HTML5
URL?
based also you can do the lab
Okay,
in
okay.
HTML5.
Thank
It's
you.
just that you have to be a bit more sharper there. Like some of the sections and links here are in a different place in
Yeah.
HTML5. So just
Okay.
be on more redder alert. Redder.
Okay. Yeah.
So here,
Thank you.
guys, suppose you have disconnectivity, right? So where do you go to rescan? And that might happen again and again in next classes as well, even in production environment when you have that. So we normally do rescan. So I'm just going to go back to host and clusters to know where to go and click the rescan. So the storage here, the connectivity of the storage could be refreshed. So I'm just going to click the host and clusters here, this one, and then on E6I01. Actually, Shahab is having an issue in TOR-DC, so it says in E6I01. So Shahab, you can just click this one and then go to configure and then storage adapters. It is already selected here in my case. So there's that small button here. This button is for rescan. So whenever you want to troubleshoot the storage connectivity from server 1 to server 2, then this is a rescan, or from your SAN in your company to whichever hypervisor you're connected. So you can click this. So once we click the rescan here, it just says scan for new storage devices, scan for new VMFS volumes, and press OK. Refresh is inactive. Okay. Is your E6I1 up and running? Is it on? Is it powered on? And are you able to communicate with your E6I? So so that's really strange. So this means that even plus sign is inactive. So one thing you can do is just refresh this. Second thing is you can sign out from here, administrator. uh, when you click, then there's a log out and then log in again. Third thing is you have to restart your E6I1 again. Well, if we put it back from suspension, so it is unsuspended now, some of the services might be frozen. So restarting E6I1 would then, and once it is restarted, then go back and refresh this browser as well, the vCenter based refresh as well. So this kind of T-shoot keeps on happening in our environment, and we just have to patiently T-shoot that. Okay, guys, so as far as confirming the last step from the last class, the data stores are here, right? So let's go back to the diagram and check it out what we need to do. So this is what our environment looks like now, and we need to go for some more topics before we go for virtual standard switch. And first of all, we need to create a VM, and this time it's going to be empty VM on LAN based data stores, right? Stores. So that's the first thing we're going to do, just to check that our data stores are actually working fine or not. Second thing is, remember that we installed an operating system in your first name VM01. So the second major step would be migrate only storage of your first name VM01, because it has an operating system, right? So migrate only storage of your first name VM01 from local disk based data store to one based data store, right? So local disk based data store to one based data store, we're gonna migrate. Why we want to migrate? Because we need one virtual machine having an operating system on a LUN based data store, because later we're going to go for vMotion, right? Which is migration from one hypervisor to another, migration from one data store to another, and both together. So, well, for many labs, we will use the operating system based virtual machine, while the rest of the machines, virtual machines we're about to create, will be actually empty virtual machines. So some of the advanced features like vMotion, fault tolerance, DRS, HA, they are configured and used the same way with a virtual machine with an operating system or a virtual machine without an operating system. Even with the empty machine, vMotion works. Even with the empty machine, fault tolerance also works. So anyway, we still need to just have one machine with an operating system. So that machine, when we come to this, we're going to talk about that and explain that in the diagram. But we have to move the disk of that operating system based virtual machine from local physical disk based data store to LAN based data store. So I'm going to show you how. And then the next major step, actually, the topic would be what are resource pools and vApps. What are vApps? And we're going to create those and check it out. And then there is VM, so virtual machine management, and then we will go for virtual standard switch topic. Standard switch. After that, vMotion. So that's one of the most important topics, but obviously standard switch is also very important. Okay guys, so we're gonna go for that. Let's do it now. Since we now understand that what we need to do, I'll just put that with big font here. Alright, so the first one is create a VM on LUN based data stores to check if our LUN based data stores are working fine. Just you need to check that. So if we can create a virtual machine and power it on, this means yes, the ones that we created in the last class are actually okay. If they're not okay, then you will see an error. You won't be able to create a virtual machine, or if you are able to create a virtual machine, you won't be able to power on the virtual machine if there is some problem with the data stores, LUN based data stores, that is. So last time we just created, but we did not check that, so let's check it now. So I'm just gonna go to the this hosts and clusters, and then in the hosts and clusters, actually you don't, we didn't create this data store, so ignore that. In fact, I'll just get rid of it. Alright, so E6I01 here, let's click that. We can create a virtual machine anywhere from any hypervisor, that is. So I'm just going to right click on E6I01. I'm going to right click on, let's right click on E6I01 and go way up to new virtual machine here, Z1, and then we go for new virtual machine, right? So no big deal here, and it's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to click this. Oh, there are more pictures. Oh, okay, that's the... Okay, so once you're in the virtual machine, so there are many other options here. We're going to explore those options as well. But right now it's a create new virtual machine, and we're going to stick to that and click next. And then we can just name it. So we may already have a virtual machine VM01, so we can just go for VM02, your first name VM02. Let's select the name your first name VM02, and then next. So it's asking for compute resource, or which hypervisor you want to use the CPU and RAM of. So this is good, and the good news is again is this window here. As long as it's green, it's good. Otherwise it gives a yellow sign for errors, for warning, and red sign for errors. So it's green, that's good. So let's click next. So here what you can see is that you can just select any of the LON based data stores. So I'm just going for DS0. So Jagwan says I don't have VM01 under Tor DC. VM01 under Tor DC. So you may not have created it, or you may have created that in under E6I02. So in that case, it's okay. Even if it's not there as well, then you can just quickly create one. Yeah, in my DC, it could be under New York DC E6I02. So guys, we're just creating it just to know that if LON-based data stores are working fine, right? So SRV1, DS0, LON0, you can just select DS1 or DS2. The only thing we're not going to select is data store 1 because that's a local physical disk-based data store, and we want to stay only on, from now on the shared disks over the network based data stores or LON-based data stores. So I'm just selecting DS0 for no particular reason. You can select DS1, DS2. I'm going to click next. And then there is E6I 6.5 and later. So, so Ammaji just sees data store 1. So this means the, Ammaji, what I was showing before, you have to do the rescan of your disks. And were you able to connect all the ones last time? Were they showing there? And were you able to see the data stores? Because right now
Yes,
we need
sir.
to rescan.
Sir, actually, it's not showing on data store. On the data store, it's showing under the servers. If you click on the particular servers and press the data store like .dc, then it's showing. But on default data store, it's not showing.
Default data store, it's not showing when you click the servers. Well, actually,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll cancel it out here. Amarjeet, did you right click on the 6I01?
Yes. Just
And then
on
you
this
did
one.
this new virtual machine, or did you go to
Just wait.
storage?
No, new virtual machine.
New virtual machine here, and new
Create
virtual
new.
machine. So then the same wizard, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not showing. That's very strange. Also, one more thing, Amarjeet, did you rescan, or actually when you went here, where I am right now? So you're seeing all the data stores there.
Yes, sir. I will also share the snap.
So you are able to see the data stores as in this section, right? Okay, you shared it.
Yes.
No, you shared a data store 1, right? So,
Yeah.
but no other screen. No, the screen that I'm seeing right now. Are you seeing the same area here in your screen, in your vCenter? I clicked here.
Just wait.
Uh-huh.
Yes, on data store, it's showing only data store. It's local data store.
Oh, so this means that your disks are not scanned yet. So the what I showed here was you can see on my screen now E6I01 and configure and storage adapters. Come here, E6I01, configure
Okay.
storage adapters. Do you
But
see this? Yeah.
on this location, it's showing.
So are you in storage devices?
Yeah. On storage device, it's showing all MS active. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And here, this means you did not create the data stores with us last class.
Oh, right, great.
But you don't see any data stores here, but you see LONs there.
Yes.
Okay, so can you just, do you see the rescan button here? You can just try to rescan. This one. The small
Sure.
button here. In configure, storage devices, and then there's a small button here. So rescan for both E6I1 and E6I2.
Okay.
Yeah, and rescan. Otherwise, you have to restart server 1. But actually, MSFT is showing and data store is not showing. This is weird.
I share the snap, sir. You can also check.
No, it's okay. It's just that Rescan. Check if you can ping your E6i servers. How can you not see data stores if you've created those, and you can see the ones from here, the MSFTs here? That's first time for me. So how can you not have data stores seeing there while you see lawns here? Oh, also, Amarji, do you see MSFT tilted
Yes,
to the right side, like they're grayed out kind of stuff?
yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Grayed out,
Great.
grayed out like gray color. No, right? So did you rescan?
Yes, I rescan and it's showing MSFT. All three MSFT. It's only two.
Okay, so and did you click SSI2 as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so and then when you go to storage again, just like I'm going, still no data stores here, or are there? Like DS1, DS0, DS1.
It's only data store one.
Okay, then yeah, I remember this symptom was there in many courses ago in 6.0 when I was teaching, and that was horrible. The only thing is now that you have to recreate all three data stores. And do not shut down the machine, just right click power and suspend next time, or when you end the class. Maybe you've done that too, but yeah, that's so you have to recreate the data stores by following the video. This means that kind of, yeah, if you know how to do that, you can go ahead and do that and catch with us, or otherwise follow at later time and right now try to understand.
Okay, sir. Okay, I will talk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So and mine are showing under door only. Khalid. So not showing. So rescan on E6i2, Khalid, and also restart your E6i2. If it's still after rescan does not show up, then restart the E6i2 hypervisor directly from here. Like right click power and restart guest, and then refresh again. Try to do that. Okay, guys. So I was in the process of creating a virtual machine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and E6i1. I'm gonna right click here, and I'm gonna go to new virtual machine. And you were all in the middle of that when I started shooting. So create a new virtual machine. It is still selected in E6i01. Next, and then your first name VM02, and then
Sure.
yep. Then next. And there are pictures oh yeah, so we were on this picture that Brahim is sharing. Okay, so yeah, then we went for next, and then there is that DS0 I'm selecting, or DS1 or DS2, whichever you want to select. This is what we're testing here, if they're working fine. Then we were on ASXi 6.5 and later. So we don't have any older hypervisors, so we can stick to 6.5 and later, and then click next here.
So,
Yeah.
so can you please backtrack a bit?
Sorry.
You said we should just create a new virtual machine next, then
Yeah, we were creating new virtual machine, and then you just have to create the name, your first name VM02,
VM02.
and then next. That's it. It's 6901, and then just choose DS0 or DS1, whichever data store. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Just select, and next, right? So then DS0, DS1, whichever you select, and then 6.5, no change here. No, just create new one. So Jagwan says, sir, I have VM01 under NYDC. Should I delete it? Oh, no, don't delete it. Jagwan, don't delete it. Don't delete it. Keep it there. Just create a VM02 now on the LAN-based data store. Okay. And just like we were doing, it's just a new virtual machine creation, which is a very simple and basic task. So next, and then guys, we're gonna keep it an empty machine. Any new machines we're gonna create now, it's gonna be empty machines. Why? Because if we start installing operating system in all of them, that's gonna take forever. And second thing, we have one of the virtual machine that has an operating system. We're gonna make a clone out of that later as well. So So nothing to change here on Windows and 2008 R2 because we're not installing an operating system. So let's not change anything here and click next. And that's it. Whenever you create a virtual machine, guys, just make sure in your environment that you can't give all 4 GB RAM. The poor 4 GB RAM that we have given to E6i1 and 4 GB RAM to E6i2, that's all we have. So we can just give as less RAM as possible. So 1024 is the RAM for any new virtual machine that we're going to be creating here. 1024 RAM. And then there is new hard disk. We need to make sure that it is not thick provision. It is thin provision. So it will not occupy our disk space. So I'm just going to expand the new hard disk after changing the RAM to 1024. I'm going to expand the new hard disk here, and then I can see that actually it is on thick provision lazy zero. So we're going to change that to thin provision. So that's the two changes we're going to do whenever we create a new virtual machine or empty new virtual machine. We're going to make sure that it is thin provision and that it has just 1 GB RAM, right? And it's empty anyway. So once you have configured these changes here, then we click next. And then click finish. So, well, it is created VM02, but so this means that our LAN-based data store is okay. We're going to carry on now. And so what happens here is we can just, we've created the machine, let's right click and power on. How do you power on the machine? I think we all know that. Right click on the VM02 that we just created now, and just go to power and power on, right? Simple, nothing technical here. So just go ahead and power on. Does it power on? Yes, it does power on. Okay, if you say yes, it does power on, then this means that our LAN-based data stores are fine. The shared disks are coming from server 1, or LANs are coming from server 1, and they're mapped to E6i1, E6i2, and when we create a machine on top of that, it's okay. It works. I don't have VM1. So Madhuri says I don't have VM1. Now Madhuri, check NYDC as well. It's not very compulsory to have VM01. But if you can check on NYDC, because we all spend one full class on creating a VM01, hopefully it's there. Maybe you had to recreate the whole environment and you forgot to create. So it's okay. It doesn't really, it's not a big deal that VM01 must be there. You can just create a new machine just now. Jagwan says I should choose same options while creating VM01. Well, the only option that you need to make sure that you choose is that data store has to be the LAN-based data store. That's the only thing we're checking here. And yes, also the RAM is 1 GB and hard disk is thin provision. So actually these three things we changed here. Otherwise, create a new machine and it's the same thing, right? Okay, Olufemi says I have one VM on each E6i, which is okay. We can create as many VMs on any of the E6i, which is just okay. Ajibola says I have VM02 created earlier, so I just created VM01 now on LAN 0, which is okay. You're good. And Jagman says, is it okay if I don't create it as I have it under NYDC? Well, I want you to create one VM and an extra VM on any of the data stores that are on the LANs. So you can create a VM03 or VM04 or 05, whatever number you give, and ignore that there is VM01 on NYDC. Just ignore that. We just need to create one new VM, right? So then Shahab has given a screenshot here where VM02 is showing, which is okay, Shahab, and VM01 is on E6i02, which is okay. Shahab, you're good. Ammaji says, sir, how to delete the storage 1, 0, 1, and 2? Why do you want to delete? You need to create, right? Not delete. You can come on mic.
So actually, it's not showing under the storage, data storage.
No, so it's not showing in the data storage as well. Ouch. Okay.
Yeah, under the storage.
Yeah.
On
So
host and culture, under host and culture, it's showing completely MSFT, even 3.
it is showing MSFT, right?
Yeah,
So when you go to right click on .dc and go to storage and create a new data store, right?
so
So go to
create a new data.
yeah, create a new 3 data stores. For that you
Sir,
have to
what
follow the
OS we need
video
to
as well.
choose?
Ammaji. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sir, what OS we need to choose?
Sorry again.
Guest OS, which one we need to choose?
Oh, it's anyone actually. It's E6i1 or E6i2, whichever.
No, the guest OS
Oh,
in the
guest
VM.
OS. It is the default one, 2008, because we're not installing operating system at the end.
Okay, okay.
So
It's Windows Server 2008, right,
yeah,
sir?
and yeah, make sure, guys, make sure that your server one is powered on. If anyone's server one is not powered on, server one, it has to be powered on. If it is not powered on, you have to send 50 services to everyone, right? This is a punishable act if server one is not on, right? Okay. 10 should be fine. Yeah. Sandeep says. Jagwan says which lunch should I? Okay, done. Right, guys. So yeah. Anyone?
Please, I'm very sorry. I came in a little bit late, but
No.
I'm installing the new virtual machine. Which storage do I do? Do I select? Do I install it on data store 1
No, on
or
LAN based.
LUN 1 or 0 or 2?
No, yeah, it's DS0. You created last time LAN based data store, right? So
Yes, I created the last time VMO 1, so it's VMO 2 I'm creating now.
yeah, but on which data store we're talking about that, right?
Yes, which data store should I place the VMO 2?
How many data stores you see there?
I see LN0. LUN0,
Yeah,
LUN1, and LUN2, then there's the data store 1.
go for LUN0.
So, 0.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, try to come early in the class. 2 or 3 students were coming after half an hour, so that's just slowing down the class even more. We have so much to do, right? So and then there are no, it's okay if any, but yeah, also two other students were also coming at after half an hour. So guys, the other thing is that this is a very simple step, and also we have to troubleshoot our environments as well. We have very big labs upcoming, so if you're stuck just with this step, how can we go ahead, right? So but I'm trying to troubleshoot with you and trying to accommodate as much, but wherever you have lengthy problems, then you have to sit back and try to understand what's going on. If we can't cover all the advanced topics, then I have to convert them to theory, right? If T-shoot is going on so much, but hopefully you are able to T-shoot and also go ahead. Now there are still some pictures coming here. Brahim is showing the virtual machine is up, so Brahim, you're good, and storage is working. Shahab is saying storage is working. Okay, that's good. Oh, there's IP conflict. Shahab, check your IPs. This must not be coming. This is too dangerous, right? So host IP address conflict. Just check your IP addresses all over and correct them. My IPs are okay. Okay. So anyway, well, storage is working, then you're good. That's good. Okay, guys, let's try to go ahead. We're just trying to crawl ahead. First lab was this. Okay, there you go. Ammaji's have all. Way to go. Congratulations, Ammaji. Very good. Way to go. Okay, guys, so let's try to go ahead with the next one, and that is we will be going for migrate only storage of your first name VM01 from local disk based data store to LAN based data store. Okay, I'll just mute everyone because we can all hear someone breathe really hard. So mute everyone, please. Okay, so okay guys, let's go ahead and try to go for migrate only storage of your first name VM01, even if it is on NYDC or it is on your Tor DC. It doesn't really matter. So what are we trying to do next? Next is this. Our first VM that we created, some of us created on Tor DC, which is okay, or host 1 or ESXi 1. Some of us created on ESXi 2, which is okay, don't worry. So the main problem here is that, or the main scenario here is, we created a virtual machine before, right? Remember that we installed the operating system on top of that? Yes, we remember. Okay, thank you for that reply. And then this virtual machine was actually created on a local physical disk, right? So that is unacceptable for a professional environment, or if it is there, then is there a chance that we can actually migrate it away from local physical disk to a LAN-based disk or data store that is coming from over the network? So what we're going to do is we're going to migrate this virtual disk only storage to any of these LAN-based data stores, so it could also join our professional network or the network where we have actually iSCSI SAN available now. So we're going to move the virtual machines virtual disk only. And which virtual machine is that? This is the VM01, right? So we're going to run a migrate wizard now, where we will be just starting. So that's your first name VM01 virtual machine, or whatever name you gave, but it has an operating system, right? So this machine's virtual disk will be moved now from local physical disk to the LAN-based data store, and this virtual disk will be there at the end of the migration, right? So it is 01 exactly. So okay guys, if we understand what we're about to do now, so it's gonna be really easy. It's just that it's gonna take some time, but it's gonna be really easy for you. So Ammaji says, how much RAM for VM2 please? Yeah, it is 1024. 1024. RAM is 10. Oh, there you go. Okay, so guys, here let's try to go for the next one as well. So I'm just gonna go for the migration wizard involving machine number 1. So first of all, if you're back in your Vcenter, do you see your first name VM01? Yeah. Okay, thank you. And then we're going to keep it off. Do not power it on. Just keep it off. Do not power it on, right? And right click on top of that machine. What are we about to do? Just move its disk, virtual disk, from local physical data store, physical drive based data store to the LAN based data store. So when you right click here, you can see this migrate option here, right? Migrate. So let's click that migrate option off or for VM01. In my case, it is in ESXi 01. If in your case it is in ESXi 02, it's okay. It's just the same thing, right? Just right click wherever your VM01 is and migrate. Once you click the migrate here, so you can see these options here. When we go for vMotion, we're gonna discuss in detail these options. Right now, we're not moving the machine from one host to another host, or one ESXi 01 host to ESXi 02. We're just moving its disk. So that's why we're gonna go for the second option. And when you're moving storage, it's okay to have the virtual machine down, and we didn't have to do any prerequisite for vMotion, which is an upcoming topic, where a virtual machine can be powered on and still can be migrated. That will require a lot of prerequisites first. This storage only moving, it does not require any prerequisites. So you can see we didn't do much. It's just a working environment, basic working environment, and we're moving the virtual disk. So change storage only and click next. So it's the second option that we're selecting here. And once you click next here, then it is asking, oh, okay, regardless of where it is right now, what is the destination you want for the virtual disk of this virtual machine? So we can choose the destination from any of these LAN-based data stores. So you can just go for DS0, DS1, DS2. So I'm just going for DS2 for no particular reason. You can select DS1, DS0. Doesn't really matter where you put that. As long as it's LAN-based data store, we're good, right? So, but once you select that, you can also see up there. For me, migrate is grayed out. Oh, okay. Kavita says migrate is grayed out. So is it powered off? First thing. Second thing is refresh the browser. Third thing is you don't have to do this lab if the migrate is off. And I'm not going to ask any screen, but try to understand the process and try to troubleshoot as well, right? If troubleshooting doesn't work and we're done, so it's okay, it doesn't matter. But try to understand the process, or you can just you create a second machine, right? You can do this on second machine because we're just learning how to move uh, virtual disk from a local physical drive to a LAN-based drive data store. So you can do it with a second machine, but power off the second machine first. Suppose it's there, migrate is available to the second machine. Power off it, and then go for this. Okay, guys. So here, LAN2 or DS2 LAN2, and then next. Oh yeah, I was sorry. When I clicked back here, I was talking about the same format as a source. I just clicked back here just to show this one. Same format as a source. It's just saying, hey, you wanna make it thin provision or thick provision? So maybe some of us may have by mistake created the virtual machine with thick provision. Maybe, right? Majority, I'm sure that you were on thin provision. So if you're not sure that when you were creating in 3 or 4 classes ago, when you're creating that machine, it was on thin or thick. So right now you can choose it. Choose thin as well. In fact, I'll just choose thin just out of caution that I should not be moving a thick provision disk if it was thick provision. So if it is thin provision and want to, now we're good, and then click next. And that's it. So ready to complete. It shows here ready to complete. So we can click Finito. Go ahead and click Finito, and it should migrate the virtual disk having an operating system from. So if I go back to the diagram here, if I go back to the diagram here, so then you can see here that this disk has to do a lot of traveling here, right? Oh, Kavita shows that all of a sudden, yeah, it's loading, right? So yeah, this is something we have to be patient on. And Madhuri shows a screen that I'm going to show here as well. Invalid data, check the log files for details. Leave VM, change storage, leave VM on the original compute resource. So Madhuri, did you select the correct data store, like the DS1, DS0? Just go back, and then try to check. It's not seeing storage at all, so try to select something on the data store and then come back here. So I'll just drag it back, and had the same error just now. Sandeep says closed and opened the browser. It's okay now. Oh, good. Okay, so Kavita, you can just follow what Sandeep said on WhatsApp. Thank you, Sandeep, for sharing that. And alright guys, so what we were doing was that this virtual disk is traveling from the E6I01 host over this, whichever data store we selected, but it's not right on top of this, right? So this is actually traveling from here over the network to here. So that's why it may take longer time, and it's a 10 GB, right? Thin provision, but the operating system is Windows whichever, but it takes 8 GB up to 10 or 12 GB. So whatever the operating system size is there, that's traveling over the network now to actual disk, which is actually in server 1, but it is mapped over the network to the 2 hypervisors, right? So it's actually traveling over the network to the server 1. Or in production environment, wherever your SAN is, it would just travel over the network there. If there's fiber channel there, fiber cables there, fiber optic switch there, that's wow. It's so fast. So this is happening, and hopefully if I go with mine, I think it is done for me. You know why it is done for me? Because my VM01 actually does not have an operating system. I forgot. I did install it in front of you, but this is another environment. my actual environment vCenter is not healthy. It's having some issues. So I had to copy the machines of another college where I'm also doing VMware, teaching VMware. So it's different machines. So there I did not create a virtual machine with operating system. Okay guys, so VM01, and if it is done, I don't think it's done. Is it done for anyone? Is it done for anyone? Okay, there's a nope, there's a yes, and there's a 48%. Yay! So FANE is saying 48%, SNI is saying 48%, Ammaji is saying 37%. So only Sandeep is saying yes. Maybe Sandeep, you use the machine that does not have an operating system, or you started early, way early. So that's good. Oh, Paul is done. Woohoo! And Jagwan, how do we know percentage? Oh, it's in the recent task. Jagwant, it's in the recent task, this one. At the bottom. Oh, Sandeep, it has an OS. Oh, you're kidding me, man. How could you do that so fast? That was too fast. Fast and furious. Hopefully not furious. Just fast. Ooh. So Mallory shows error here. And it looks like this. So the error says here, could not connect to vSphere web client, contact your administrator. Oh, Mallory, you can just refresh the browser. Just refresh the whole browser or sign out, sign in. This is one of the browser related annoyances that comes, that sometimes it asks us to just sign out, sign in. Okay, migration steps are this, that Kavita, you can see this. Right click on the machine that is powered off, and okay, so Brahim says same thing, refresh and login again. So Kavita, if you're seeing that, right click and then go to migrate here, and once you migrate, then just select the second option, change storage only, this one. Hopefully you're following. And then click next, and then you have to select the storage, and you can just select DS2 or DS0 or DS1, whichever. Just go for DS2 or whichever, but no way, don't go for Desktop 1, just the DS on the LAN based. And then once you select this, then just select next. Oh, just also make sure that you go for thin provision here. Maybe we create that machine on thick provision, so just make sure, be cautious and select thin provision here. Once you select thin provision and any of the LAN based data stores, then we'll go for next, and that's it, finish. Okay, good luck. I'll cancel out from here because I already did that. Now at the end of it, guys, how does it look like? Or and how does it look like, guys? So it's your first name VM01, it is there, right? What is the proof that the disk has been migrated from local data store to the LAN based data store, right? So the proof, you can select the disk and then you can select on the right side data stores. So whatever is on the data store for this virtual machine will be showing here. So virtual machine on the right side, just click data store. If you see the correct data store here, the destination data store, you're good. That's what you need to make sure is showing there. And that's our first screenshot. Yay! Or yay. Okay, so that's it shows both. Sandeep says shows both. Yes, so it shows both data store 1 and LAN 2. Now this data store 1 should go away after some time, or refresh, but it doesn't go right away. And in another case, suppose it does not go after refresh or after 1 hour, and then refresh and then it doesn't go away, then right click and just delete it from there if you can. So if it's showing 2 data stores, it's okay, but it should show for that machine at least the destination data store as well. And if it shows you destination data store, now that's going to be your first screenshot. So let me just put the screenshot name here. In fact, I'll take a screenshot, and this is our first screenshot, that your virtual machine's virtual disk is on the LUN-based data store. So that's our screenshot number 1. I'll put it on WhatsApp. Screenshot 1. And I'll put it here as well on OneNote. So that is the second major task going on. So under that task, I'll put that, and screenshot 1 name is what? Screenshot 1 dash is that, yeah, migrated successfully vdisk of your first name VM01 to whichever, right? SRV1 DS2 in my case, LON 2, or whichever. So that's a long name for the screenshot. And please copy to WhatsApp the name as well. Okay. So I put the screenshot, actual screenshot there. I'll put the name of the screenshot 1 now here. Okay, done. So name is shown as data store 1 in my machine. Like, oh yeah. So no, Kavita, were you during the migration wizard? Were you able to choose the DS2 or DS1 during the migration wizard? No. Oh, you don't see those shared disks then? Ouch, that's not good. Like, so Kavita, you only see data store 1. That's so you can go back and so let me show you. You can did you rescan? So if I go for this, so yeah, disk storage C. Ibrahim is saying check disk storage C. So if you click this E6I1 and configure and storage, configure and then storage here, it's already selected here, and then you can select this rescan button. But if you see only data store 1, that's well, data stores are not showing right now. So you can rescan here. Ooh, the Madhuri shows hey, weren't, oh, when you refresh then it showed here. Ouch. Yikes. That, if you restart it, then you have to wait like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. If you did not restart, then close it and refresh it. You can also clean the browser data and then try to open it. So it's kind of a struggle to work with Vcenter with very less RAM. It then comes up with any kind of error anytime. It really tests our patience. Tuesday. Stuck. Khalid says stuck. Madhuri says, oh, so you're following the video. Well, you can try to t-shoot this and try to understand all the topics, because in the interview they're asking about VMware a lot. So guys, anyone done? Actually, why are we even waiting for that? It can happen in the background as well, right? And we can go for the next lab even, right? That browser is really, crashing. So Madhuri, you know the UI, other type of, web client. You can use even that, which is that instead of this, so you can write the whole thing here, but you can just put, instead of vSphere client, you can just put small case UI, user interface, right? And it will open the other type of web client, and you can just try to do that too. Okay, so Kavita has showed, oh, there you go, you're done actually. So Kavita, you're good. You're okay. So just take a screenshot of this while data store 1 is showing. At least your destination is showing as well, right? SRV1 DS2 on 2, so that's good. Take a screenshot of that, you're good. Okay. So guys, this is a screenshot that I am putting in front of you. And if your data store looks like this. Both old and new one is showing. This is okay. As far as new one is showing, just take a screenshot of that. That's for screenshot one. And ignore that data store one is showing. It's going to go away. If not, then right click and delete later as well. So that's good. So guys, then we need to at least understand, and Brahim is showing on the UI actually, the user interface, and wow, that's very good, man, on WhatsApp. So I can show it here as well. That's the UI. Guys, where your vSphere client is crashing, you can just use this UI HTML5 based web client, and that also works fine. And you can see Brahim is using that, and yes, this is a screenshot. This is again good screenshot. So okay guys, let's try to understand what's going on next. We have a lot of critical topics that we need to cover, and time is not on our side, as when we compare that how many topics are. So we can just understand now, first of all, yeah, this is just a simple migration. You don't we don't really have to wait, just keep it going, and whenever it's there, just take a screenshot, right? So then there is, as we wrote down further steps there, so we need to understand what is resource pools, very small lab but critical, and then another very small lab is vApps, and then virtual machine management. This is kind of longer, until we reach the first most critical topic, longer topic, which is virtual standard switch, and then all the very, very important topics are lined up, vMotion, and then actually after that is distributed switch, the grand arrow switches here, distributed switch, and then comes the main attraction. This is distributed switch, and then the main attraction would be the cluster. So that's not part of the distributed switch. This is a totally separate topic. Then all the other advanced features come after cluster. We need to reach cluster, right? So anyway, we're gonna make sure that we understand what we're doing, and it is job oriented, so you need to answer those questions in the job environment. Some of the students are saying that even for when you've done cloud certifications, which is also very, very important, that you really need to know VMware technologies as well. Okay guys, so here what we need to do, understand first of all, what is resource pool anyway. So resource pool is it's just like the two most important things in virtualization. What are those two most important things that it's always a bone of contention, we can say. The first, during the peak hours, the two most sought after resources are CPU and RAM. So during the peak hours, machines are all fighting for it among each other. Hey, I need more CPU, I need more RAM, I need more RAM, I don't need more CPU. So what happens is that the critical machines that are running your company, that are letting your company earn millions of dollars, some critical machines, if they go down, the companies are actually losing thousands of dollars per minute or per hour. It's that critical for some of the applications there. So suppose you have a lot of virtual machines here, and those virtual machines during the peak hours are actually fighting for CPU and RAM. So what happens is you need to make sure that your critical VMs have enough CPU and RAM available all the time during peak hours, right? So the main purpose is that the critical VMs must have at least minimum required CPU and RAM available all the times, and especially during peak times. When every employee is working, it's between like 10 to 2, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Some say it's the peak time. So so especially during peak times. So how do we make sure that the critical VMs have enough RAM and CPU? What do? We reserve CPU and RAM for the critical VMs, right? So that's what we are going to learn, how to reserve the CPU and RAM. So minimum at least this much RAM has to be there, minimum this much CPU has to be there, right? So resource pool is all about providing minimum. Actually, it provides minimum, maximum, and priority. So we're gonna now know everything. But resource pool's main responsibility is that you can reserve CPU and RAM for critical VMs. That's what resource pool does, right? Guys, one more thing about next week. I hope you don't have any other quizzes. Are you having any other quiz next week? Because I need to take your quiz. I need to mark you, right? So I need to give you some marks. So, are there any quiz next week coming your? So there are no quizzes, right? So this means that screenshots are good. Okay, so for marks, we need to, college asked me to go for a quiz. So there will be just 25 questions and it will be open book. But it's not going to be exactly party. I'm going to make those quiz so brutal that I would want you to cry at loudest of your voice, right? I'm just kidding. Yeah. So anyway, there will be tough ones, true and false, exactly. Just true and false, open book. So next week, now I don't also want to waste our lab time, so I can put it on any other time of the weekday, right? So you can just suggest that, okay, on this day is okay, or this does. So most probably next Wednesday I'll just put the quiz. It will be 1 hour in the evening, 7 to 8 or 8 to 9, right? And it's open book. 25 questions, 1 hour, no big deal, right? Alright guys, so this was just a brief advertisement, and let's go back to what we were talking about, resource pools, yay! And then I'll send you an email or about the details. So let's go inside our vCenter environment, and there's that ESXi01. Hopefully everyone's there now. And right click on the ESXi01, guys. Right click on the ESXi01, guys. So once you right click on the ESXi01, what are we doing? We are creating resource pools. What are resource pools? We reserve CPU and RAM for critical machines. That's what resource pool do, right? So a resource pool, once you click the new resource pool here in the ESXi01 host, now you can see just that one window. That's it. That's all what resource pool is, right? But what is that's all? Okay, so let's gonna try to understand the that's all. And okay, so if you just collapse this, so this is CPU, and if you collapse this is just memory, right? Then there's nothing else. Or then we expand CPU and then we expand memory. So there are just those four options that we need to understand. And what are those four options? So first of all is shares. So the shares mean, in fact, yeah, I don't have to annotate that. So you can see that there is normal, high, custom, and that is shares, right? So if you have created suppose there were 20 virtual machines, and 5 of them are, actually 10 of them are critical, right? So, but 5 of them belong to sales department, 5 of them belong to marketing department. Okay, can you please share the first screenshot? Oh, first screenshot, it's on WhatsApp, Madhuri, and it's oh wow, so many have put their pictures there that I have to go way up there to share mine. Yikes, I can't even see mine. Oh, I lost it in its shots. Which one is mine? Oh, that one. So, Madhuri, see this? Your virtual machine should be showing, and click the data stores, and it should be this. If you see data store 1 plus this, it's okay. Just take a screenshot. And so your virtual machine and the data stores, just click that and you will see. And take a screenshot. Yay! So guys, what we were talking about is that this is that yeah, resource pool. So shares means priority, right? Shares mean priority. And what I was saying was that if you have 10 virtual machines and 5 are from a marketing department but they're critical, and other 5 are from the sales department and they're critical. Now you can create a resource pool for marketing department, and you can create a resource pool for the sales department. So high means if I select high for shares, it means, hey, hypervisor, please, first priority is the resource pool that has high shares. And then, the hypervisor has to first ask, oh, okay, so you are the VIP club here. So, and there's a shares is high. So can you tell me what exactly you want? What is your reservation? What is your limit? But I'm going to listen to you first because your shares, which means priority, is high. You create another resource pool and there you put the priority as normal, right? So normal then would be that hypervisor will first go for the high priority, high shares resource pool. It will listen to that. Then it will go for normal shares as well. Oh, okay, recording panel down. Okay, so here what you can see is that what you can understand from shares is if it is high, it is high priority. If it is normal, then it is, well, not high. It's the second best that, or they have to, hypervisor has to listen to the next one, which is normal priority. So shares is all priority, right? Then there is reservation. Reservation means minimum and limit means maximum. So reservation, minimum, if it comes in the quiz, reservation is minimum, limit is maximum. So minimum, how much you want to give. So there are, suppose, many virtual machines here, suppose 5 virtual machines, suppose, right? So you attach or map them to E6i, this resource pool, new resource pool that we are about to game. In fact, let's just name that resource pool here, sales DEPT, and resource pool is RP, right? And sales department critical machines will be attached to this resource pool, and you named it. And then let's just put it high, just for an example. Then first of all, hypervisor will listen to this resource pool, then it will go to someone else. Then reservation. So reservation means that what is the minimum RAM, what is the minimum CPU you want to, these machines must have all the time. So hypervisor has to make that arrangement. So suppose you can see there's a 3885 megahertz we have. That's very less, but in production environment you would find a lot of megahertz there. So you can go for, suppose, 1024, right? So 1024 megahertz. This is minimum CPU. Hey, Mr. Hypervisor, you must provide all the time at least this much CPU to the members of this resource pool. The virtual machines which are members of the resource pool, please provide minimum this much CPU. So hypervisor must provide, has to provide this CPU. So whatever CPU is written here minus whatever is left in the physical CPU, that will be divided among the rest of the virtual machine. This goes to the VIP club, right? The resource pool. And then there is limit. We're going to talk about reservation type as well, but first limit. Limit means maximum, right? Maximum what? So if minimum is this, that hey, you better hypervisor, you better provide this much to us, to the virtual machines here. But if they go above certain limits, suppose these virtual machines are actually abusing the CPU, not only that they have minimum always available, but because there are so many users connected to it, because it is, critical, that's why so many users connected, so it always go up and up and up and keep on asking more and more and more, and it this means that others virtual machines will have degraded performance, right? So you can put a limit, but the recommendation is if it's a critical machine, then there's a very good reason that why it is asking for more CPU, right? It's critical, right? So much work is going on, and that work is so critical. Suppose you put a limit on this, right? What's wrong with that? Suppose you put a limit 2084. Suppose that's the limit, right? So when minimum is provided, when it reaches this limit, after that no more CPU will be available. No more requests will be sent to CPU up till this level. So suppose there were CEO and directors were connecting to this machine, since it is a critical machine on the company, and when they're doing some work, it's so slow now because more CPU is needed, and you put a limit on that. So that's going to be really bad for you. So if it's a critical machine, get approval, write it down first of all, and get approval. Sir, I don't want to put a maximum limit. The pros and cons, you can just put those the benefits and the drawbacks as well, that if you put a limit on that, it's critical, that work will be affected, it will have degraded performance, right? So it's up to you. You want to put limit on it, on a critical machine or not. Suppose you create another resource pool with non-critical machines. Yes, go ahead and then put a limit on that. Hey, you can't go more than this maximum CPU. Okay, so minimum is reservation, maximum is limit. Then what is reservation type? Reservation type is that if this option is selected, expandable, this means you can ask for more, right? So if it is unchecked, this means this is what you get. That's it. You cannot ask for more. So if it is checked and you only check it, you know, when you have put a limit there, right? But if you have put it unlimited anyway, then checking it or unchecking it doesn't really matter. you only put it on unlimited. So actually, you know what? Unlimited just means that it's gonna reach the limit, which is 38885. That is unlimited. But after that, can you ask for more? If it is selected, even after using all the full limit, can you ask for more? So this means hypervisor will tell in the event viewer, or its own event viewer is all actually in Windows. Hypervisor will tell it in its own events that, hey, it reached the maximum of that or 90% of that, and then it's still asking for more. So then you can say that, hey, we actually need to increase the physical RAM. We need to purchase some more RAM and CPU for this. This is about CPU, so we need to actually migrate this virtual machine to a much better CPU based hypervisor, right? So it's up to you. How do you do that? So this is the same story for memory as well, that if you want, first of all, you want the hypervisor to listen to this group of machines, this resource pool, so you put the shares as high. Second thing is reservation. You can just put here, oh, this is already showing me 1082, so whatever you put there, 512 suppose, hey, minimum I need that. And then limited, you want to limit the RAM or you want to keep it unlimited, it's up to you. But unlimited means other machines on this hypervisor might be affected. So this is straightforward now. Shares means priority, reservation means minimum, at least this much must be provided all the time. Reservation type means you can ask for more if you have used up what we provided to you. And the limit is maximum, hey, don't go more than that. Or, yeah, go ahead, you're the critical machine, so you're the VIP, it's okay. It's up to you. But normally it's always an evolution. You monitor, you listen to complaints, then you make a strategy, better strategy that time. But obviously the less complaint, the better. So okay, Ibrahim says it is better to leave maximum unlimited. Well, for the critical machines, it is, yes, it is better. But if it goes rogue, what do I mean by that? If it goes rogue means it is asking for more CPU and RAM because of it is asking for more because of legit reasons. Suppose there's a network card inside, and or some application has gone rogue inside. That application is actually creating even more traffic than required. Then you can put a limit on that, right? We better fix that, whatever is creating more traffic. But if it is legitimately asking more traffic, then keeping it unlimited and still that is not enough, then you need to upgrade that server or put this virtual machine on a better hardware. So my max limit is 2832. Yeah, we are all actually here with very less limit. So but in production environment you will see amazing limits there. Yeah, so depends on everyone's machine, definitely. So right now it doesn't really matter what our limits are, because our limits are very less, so we can ignore that. Actually, we're just understanding the concept here. If you have put in that information here, it's just an example. We're not actually going to use that resource pool, so we're just gonna press OK now with whatever you have filled up here, right? So we're going to just press OK here, and the resource pool is created. Yay. So if the resource pool is created, it looks like this, right? And how do we attach the machines to it? How do we attach the virtual machines to that, right? So there are two ways. Suppose there's a VM01 here, and in fact I'm just gonna power off that VM02. Guys, try to make sure that none of your virtual machines are powered on. We really need every inch of RAM and CPU that we have, so I'm just gonna power off the machine here. I'll let you know which lab we need the machine to be powered on. So here I've powered off the VM02, right? I want to move the VM02 to the resource pool because I want that reservation to be there available for this virtual machine, suppose, right? So there are two ways. Either you can drag and drop the VM02 or whichever VM, you can drag and drop on top of that, or better go for a professional way, which is right click on the machine and there's a move to option, right? Right click on the virtual machine and move to option. So move to where? To the resource pool under the ESXi01. So I need to reach there. ESXi01 is in TORDC, and then host and clusters, and ESXi01, and there you go. That's the resource pool. Hopefully everyone got it. Okay, Madhuri is asking, please repeat. So Madhuri, did you create that resource pool already? Okay, so then right click on the virtual machine, anyone, and then click move to. Either drag and drop or move to. So right click on machine and move to. Once you click move to, then you can go to wherever the resource pool is. So resource pool is, in my case, TORDC, under TORDC, then obviously under host and clusters, and then under ESXi01. There you go. There's your resource pool. So select that. If you have reached there and selected it, then press OK. So
So for me, it's showing move to folder.
folder.
Yeah, I'm using the other UI, HTML5.
Oh, okay. So, oh, HTML5. Hey, how does it look like there? Can you? Okay, Brahim says.
I'm getting an option like move to folder.
Brahim says move to Flash, which is okay. Flash. Do you see move to Flash? If you do, that's it.
No, I could not see that.
So, Brahim, you can share the screenshot. Brahim is on HTML5, and that's a very good thing. You can also get that experience, but you know, if you can be there, then that's better. But in future, it will be HTML5. So, Madhuri, you should be moving a machine which is inside. Oh, you moved it already. I think you moved it, or switch from UI to Flash. Oh, you did not. So Madhuri, try to use.
Yeah, I have that same thing, move to folder. I don't have move to.
Oh, you don't have move to in UI.
Yes. I do drag and drop.
No. So Brahim says switch from UI to Flash, and then move to. Okay, so move to actually is not there in. So do you see that? Okay, I'll just close that. There's a switch to or launch vSphere client, right? So I'm seeing HTML5. You might be seeing there an option showing switch to or connect to the other. Wow, I need to be on UI as well. This means. So guys, how many are on UI for, some are because they want to explore, and some are because actually FlashBase is not working, right? So in that case, oh, there you go. Brahim is showing switch. So move the VM under TODC. Yeah, better drag and drop then. Go back to name.humber.local and select Flash. Wow, it's taking forever for me to open the HTML base as well. So guys, you were able to, so are you not able to drag and drop as well? See this? If I want to select the machine and keep it selected, and then I drag until I reach right over the resource pool, and then I drop it. As soon as I move the mouse, so now it is dropped on top of this. Well, but in HTML5, definitely we should know where is the move to button here. Although better.
Yes, but I can drag and drop.
Yeah, we can drag and drop as well. So go ahead. Oh, you can drag and drop. So you're confirming. Thank you. Okay, great. So everyone has dragged and dropped. So you can just expand that or collapse it and expand that, so you would know that, oh, it's actually inside the resource pool now. So you could put here 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 machines here, depends on how many. But this is how then resource pool works, and you can even create child resource pools inside the parent resource pool, and resource pool just does what it does, and that is reserving the memory and reserving the CPU, or limiting the memory and limiting the CPU, right? So it's all about creating a child resource pool, or and then when you right click here, so new virtual machine you can create here, new vApp, that's the next topic now, new vApp, new resource pool, under that resource pool you can create, and then you can export the virtual machine with the OVF as well. The rest of the options are rename and permissions only and move to. So but that's what resource pool really does, that you can reserve the CPU and memory, right? Now there's another one. So guys, before that we go to the next topic. Can you move out the machine as well? I can drag and drop it as well. So if I select that machine now, I can just drag from this virtual machine is inside resource pool, right? I wanted to drag it out. So I'm going to drag it out and paste it right on top of, or drop it on top of the E6501. That's the root of the hypervisor. In order to, so if I drop it on top of E6501, this action is not available for any of the selected objects at this time. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'll try that again. Otherwise, I'll go for move to. Oh, there you go. There's a plus sign here. Seriously, what is wrong I'm doing here? Oh, it's not. Okay, so then I'll go for right click and oh, okay, it's not even moving too. Are you kidding me? So, oh, move to is grayed out. Maybe I put some stuff there on resource pool. I'll just refresh the browser. Browser's refreshed. Oh, same for you. Okay, refresh, guys. The type of CPU and RAM we gave there, it could have blocked some resources there. I was able to move out. Okay, Ajibola was able to move out. Oh, you can't power on because it does not have enough RAM and CPU. In fact, oh, I have moved to, so I just refreshed. That's all. Just refresh the browser, guys. So then I'll just select the E6i host and TORDC. In order to move out of the resource pool, I'll select the TORDC, I'll select the host and clusters, but I will only select on top of E6i01. I will not go with it, under it, right? So TORDC, host and clusters, E6i01, that's it, in order to move out. Oh, okay, so computer says it's okay for me. So yeah, Ibrahim, if you refresh, it should be okay. So it was not okay for me until I refreshed the browser, and should be okay now. Well, hopefully. Yeah, okay, that's good. So, alright guys, well, this is the resource pool. We understand the concept behind it, and it does come in the exam. It will definitely come, but in the interview, it also comes from time to time. Some students were saying that. So the next one, which is also a small feature, but you will see some comparison of vApp with this resource pool as well. So the next one is actually vApp. So vApp is just we can group together VMs in order to start, stop, restart them together. So suppose you're patching a machine, you're installing updates on those 5 or 10 group of machines. So after you have installed all the Windows updates or Linux updates, you want to restart them all together, right? Or you want to restart them in an order that first this one in a Windows machine, first let's restart the domain controller. Once it is restarted and logged in back again, then go for the next one, then the next one, then the next one. You want to put it in order, or you want to restart them together or shut down them together. So you can do that with vApp. So vApp is just grouping of virtual machines to do some patching related maintenance or any kind of maintenance where you want them to restart all together or stop altogether or start altogether, right? Or you can put them in order as well. So it's not a very complicated application, it's just straightforward. But the other thing it has is that it also supports resource pool. It also has a built-in resource pool option as well. What does that mean? Resource pool option. What does that mean? It just means that if you don't want to create a resource pool, you can create a vApp with resource pool inside. If Yanni says, I refreshed my browser and my resource pool disappeared. So disappeared, like vanished, right? Like gone. Refresh it again, I guess it will come back. It happens in the movies, right? Okay. Tom and Jerry. So, guys, let's go for vApps. And we don't need actually resource pool now. Oh wow, it came back, so it was refresh. That's good. So, okay, guys, right click on E6i1 or E6i2, whichever. vApp we can create anywhere, or resource pool we can create anywhere. So I'm going to right click on E6i1 here, and then you can see this new vApp. So let's right click on, oh, did I right click on E6i1? Because my VM02 is selected. So right click on E6i1 after selecting it, and then go for vApp and the new vApp. And then there's just create a new vApp or clone an existing vApp. Not much options there. Then click next. So we can create a vApp dash marketing dash VMs, whatever name you want to give. Suppose it's for marketing department VMs. So you can go for vApp dash marketing dash VMs, and then click next. You must select valid location. Oh, sorry, I did not select it, so I'm gonna select the Tor DC here. You have to select the Tor DC to go ahead, and then next. So now you can see, oh, resource pool is here as well. Oh, why? So it makes sense why resource pool would be here as well, because when if you are creating a group of the same machines, right, you're grouping the same 10 virtual machines of marketing department, and you're planning to do resource pool as well as vApp. So if it's the same machines that you want to create a vApp of, if it's the exact same machine you want to create a resource pool of, so why don't you just create a vApp with resource pool built into it? So if it's the same group, then you don't have to create separately resource pool. vApp also has that same feature built into it. So you don't have to maintain two groups for the exact same machines, right? That's the main point here. So we don't have to configure it now. We can just keep the resource pool as is, and because we understand what each of those sections are, so we can click next now. And well, that's it. So nothing in vApp for now. So let's click finish. So nothing done, no changes. So once we click finish here, so this is the vApp, and how do we add machines? The same way we added the machines before to the resource pool. Now we can add actually both machines there, right? So I'm gonna drag, actually, drag and drop. I don't want to encourage that. Whenever the boss is around, just right click and move to. Whenever he's gone, he or she's gone, then just drag and drop, right? Just kidding. So drag and drop can have mistakes that can have dire consequences as well, right? So sometimes there are so many resource pools here and so many vApps here, and we thought we were dragging on the right resource pool and it went to the wrong one. So at once the policies get implemented. So that's why professional is right click, move to. We're gonna move it to now vApp, right? So the same way as we move to resource pool, so just expand the Tor DC, expand the host and clusters, and expand the E6i01 as well until you see vApp. Okay, so right click on the virtual machine VM01 and move to, and then just go to the vApp where it is. So where's the vApp? It's in Tor DC. Where in Tor DC? in host and clusters. We're in host and clusters inside ESXi01, and there it is. Just select and press OK. Okay, simple, right? So now first machine is gone. I'm just gonna take the second machine, move to, or we could have selected all the two machines and selected them, move to together. So again, ToDC, host clusters, ESXi1, and vApp. So press OK. So now two machines are there inside the vApp, right? So we can expand that vApp. We see the two machines. We collapse the vApp. We do not see the two machines, right?
Sir, in the UI, we have this migrate option and then it says migrate type. So
Oh no,
I'll just
yeah,
WhatsApp.
migrate would be different. It is towards from one data store to another or one hypervisor to another hypervisor. So it's better to drag and drop. In fact, I was opening my UI, which did not open till now. Wow. Okay. Serious. Okay. So then we can also confirm from Brahim. Brahim, how did you do that? Because you do not migrate. Do not migrate, right? So cancel out from there. And it's very strange that move to is not there. Because it's not fully developed UI. That's why.
Sir, the UA, the HTML version is not full features, does not support full features. They say this in the homepage.
That's what I said on the day 1 and day 2 as well, that they do not have full features right now. UI does not have full features.
So in the homepage, just select Flash version.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying from the start, that stick to the Flash version. I think people are there because their Flash version is not opening. So they are just, I have no choice right now. So actually it opened for me, UI. And the thing is that if it's not fully developed, so well, I did move it already. That's why they're showing, and there is move to. Actually, I did not really try to come. If it was 6.7, then we will have to work only here. But here it's just going to be in an incomplete web client. That's what we're saying. So. Okay, no update and migrate. Brahim says, why do we need vApp? Well, I was just explaining that what's the purpose of vApp? vApp is for grouping machines to start, stop, or restart. That's it, right? So it's just you would need machines when you're patching every month and you have hundreds of machines there. You can group them together and restart them together, or stop them together, or in order you want to restart, stop.
It is like OU in Windows, organizational units.
OU is a bit different. vApp is like grouping of machines. Yes, in that term, we can organize it, but yes, otherwise its purpose is to group them together to manage the maintenance, which is restart, shut down, and start. So we can just explore those machines further, or vApp further. But OU in the term, that in the sense that they can organize. That's the only similarity. Okay, so Shabuddin says I have one VM on ESXi1, which is okay, Shabuddin. You can just drag that one VM inside ESXi1. Sandeep says VM01 is in NYDC. Should we move this to vApp? Actually, you can move it as well. Suppose your VM is in NYDC, then you have to actually migrate the machine. Those who are living in so if you right click, does your move to lets you move it to from NYDC to ToDC? If it lets you, go ahead and do that. Actually, if I go for NYDC, guys, I just want to show you, does move to feature lets you cross the data center as well. So if I select the NYDC, my virtual machine is in ESXi1 in ToDC, and I'm clicking move to for this virtual machine, and I'm moving it to, and I'm selecting the destination as NYDC and hosting clusters and just ESXi2. If I do that, if I press OK, so move to converts to migrate, right? So that's what I wanted to show you. So yes, through this you can do that too. So Madhuri, yes, if you want to try that, but then once you reach the E6i1 from E6i2 or NYDC, once you reach TORDC from NYDC, then you can do a local move to or drag and drop as well. So here, when I click move to, it changes to migrate and then change compute resource only. So those who want to migrate the machine now, maybe you're following now, you can just do that now. Those whose machines are in NYDC, you can move now. So change compute resource only.
So for now I have moved VM2 to vApp. Is that okay? And I can continue with the class and we can do the other vApp later.
Yes, that's okay. Cool.
Okay, thank
So
you.
guys, if you have one machine, it's also okay because that's a longer process now. If anyone wants to move the NYDC machine to the TORDC, you can just right click and migrate. So anyone trying this, if you want me to show that how to migrate a machine from NYDC to TORDC, then I can show you. Otherwise, we can carry on with this vApp. So Paul says for us that our system worked fine. Are we to do anything? Yeah, you can wait until I explain what to do next. So please wait there. Do not do anything by yourself. So guys, here, since no one's asking that to migrate, so guys, if you have moved one machine into vApp, then you're okay, right? Let's go ahead from there, right?
Sir, the app also has a resource pool. So why do we know do we need the resource pool separate? It's like it's include the resource pool.
Yes, so I did explain that before. So the reason is that if there's a same group of machines, that you need resource pool plus vApp, both. If you have the same set of machines, 5 machines, and you need both groups, so then do not create separately a resource pool. Why? Because if you put them in vApp, resource pool is also there as well, right? So in that case only, we don't need resource pool then. We have created here. Why? Because we need to understand what is resource pool in the first place, right? But when you're creating vApp for the same machine and resource pool for the same set of machines, don't create a separate resource pool. Just create one vApp. That's right. Okay, so let us go ahead, guys, and right click on vApp just to explore some more features. Right click on vApp. So there's power on. So this means that we can power on the machines one by one. But in fact, you can see I have 2 machines here, or if you have 1 machine, it's better to have 2 machines here. So those who have just 1 machine in E6i1, you can just create quickly a new machine as well if you want. Otherwise, you can just see and understand here. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to power on once only, right? So if I click power on, I'm expecting whatever number of machines are inside will power on, right? So that's the main purpose of that. Well, one of the example of the usage of vApp, that when you power on, they're both gonna power on, right? But you can see one more thing in recent tasks. It is showing just one here. Your first name VM01, and then it's gonna show the second one when it powers on the second one, which means that it is putting them in order, right? And we can change that order as well. So first of all, what I wanted to show was that, hey, it's when you click power on, you don't have to power on one by one all machines. They're all going to power on. So that's the first thing, right? So let's right click on vApp and check one more thing, and that is edit settings. Let's go to the edit settings to check its features now. Let's go to the edit settings of vApp and check its features now, right? So once you click the edit settings, here you can see some more options. First of all, you want to change the resource pool settings. CPU resources, you can still do that. We've already understood that. We don't have to do that, but they're there. That's what I'm telling you. Second thing is unrecognized OVF section. So if you imported the machine from outside to inside, in that case, you would see something in this section. Right now, there is no unrecognized sections. Sometimes when you import the machine, some of the information is unrecognized by the vApp. So that's what it's saying. So an IP allocation, what IPs have been allocated to these machines. It shows that this is start order. So suppose you created a vApp of 20 virtual machines there. They're all Windows machines. They're all web servers or whatever, print servers. and you have to every month you have to patch them, right? So you can either restart, shut down them together, or you can put group. So suppose you had 10 machines here, you would see group 1 for one machine, group 2 for second machine, group 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, group 10 until that. You will see why. You can see that right now group 1 is starting first, group 2 will start second. So my two machines are both showing green play button. This means that both were started, but you did see that first it started the VM01, then it waited for 120 seconds. This is that 120 seconds. Then it let the second machine start, right? So it is in order. But suppose I want, no, I want them to start together. What do? I will select this machine and I will select the arrow sign. Now what happens? Both will start together, both will shut down together. The only problem with that is you will need at once a lot of RAM to start, a lot of RAM and CPU to start. Suppose there were 10 machines or 20 machines in a group. You're starting them together. You better have more RAM and CPU to support, at once 20 machines need a lot of RAM, right? Startup RAM. And at once they're shutting down. So with the, better specs, hardware, you can easily do that. You can also still put arrow here, and this will start first. I just kept on putting the arrow up there, so now VM0 is second one. So suppose it was a domain controller, it was in group 2, you would put the domain controller in Microsoft first, and then member servers later, right? So first domain controller will restart, then others will restart. So this is how it is. That's what I wanted to explain. If you go further down here, shutdown action, when you power off, it will be a shutdown action, which is okay. And then product, suppose these were all web servers, you can just type here web servers. And again, IP allocation, if you go down here, so it says that, hey, were you receiving IP from DHCP, or were these machines OVF, which means imported or exported virtual machines, right? And IP protocol, specified IP protocol supported by this vApp. So TCP, it's IPv4, IPv6, or both. So these are just very straightforward information, but the main thing to understand here is that you can just order them, change the order of their starting and stopping. And you can even make them wait 20 seconds, 120 seconds, 200 seconds, it's up to you. And you can also have resource pool inside. So vApp is created for the machines where you want resource pool plus vApp both to be for the same machine. Right, so I hope you understand that you don't have to create resource pool if you're creating vApp for the same machines. Then separately don't create that resource pool, right? Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, nothing complicated here. This is just small features, straightforward features here. I'm just going to cancel out from here. Those machines are actually started. In fact, I'll right click here and then I'm going to check that do they power off as well. So if I go to power off, obviously they will power off. Better go for shutdown. That is safer than power off. It waits for the services to stop, shut down. Power off simply powers off everything quickly, right? So I'm going to shut down, send a shutdown command from just the vApp, and it should shut down both machines. And yes, it did shut down both machines. Actually, that was too fast. So you guys, this is vApp and resource pool, and then we migrated the virtual disk from local physical disk to the LAN-based data stores, and now there is import, export, and then virtual machine management. Those are the next topics there. So let's get going with those topics. Or toppings. No, it's not toppings, it's topics. So well, the next topic is import export, which is OVF, actually OVA. So that's gonna take a bit longer time. We can just take a break now and then come back later after the break, right? So 7:53, 10-minute break. Okay, 10-minute break. Wow, that's brutal. 15. Okay. Oh, there you go. 15. How do resource pool allocate resources? Okay, so Sandeep, let's save it for after the break and then let's keep going. So 7:53, so it will be 8:03 and 8:05, 8:07. Okay, 8:07, guys.
Sir, my shutdown is grayed out. What? How can I switch off? I mean, shut down the vApp?
Writing cluster. Yeah. So vApp is shut down.
No, it's not enabled. My shutdown is not enabled.
So this means the machines are not powered on. Oh, 807. Hey guys, so 807. Muting, taking a break. Alright. Okay guys, so we're back from the break, and we've talked about the resource pool and vApps, and so Sandeep was asking how do resource pool allocate resources. That was the question, and how do resource pool allocate resources? Okay, so if there are virtual machines in the resource pool here, first of all, the resource pool are, suppose you have 5 virtual machines here, right? So those, the RAM that you have actually allotted there will be divided among the resource pool. Suppose we have 10 virtual machines, and the resource pool was given 64 GB RAM or 128 GB RAM out of, suppose, a total of 512 GB RAM or 1 terabyte RAM. So 128 GB RAM will be divided among all the machines, and whichever machines need more will be given, but resource pool within that it will be managed, and if resource pool needs more, then it will be requested from the hypervisor. So, but it's divided among the virtual machines there, and yes, resource pool is given those directions because of the settings that we did there, and that's how it just does that. Allocation of the resources, but it's divided. Okay guys, so let us try to go ahead and go for the next topic, and that is our vApp and then virtual machine management, but we also have one more, and that is import export. So okay, so Brahim is just asking that if there is any screenshot here, since that is in great demand. So that's a very good thing. So let's take a screenshot number 2 of where resource pool and vApp is created. So screenshot number 2 is so resource pool and vApp created. So screenshot number 2 is like this. You can expand the vApp and the virtual machines are showing, or if the vApp and resource pool are showing under wherever you created that. If both are showing, then that's your screenshot number 2. So I'll just go for that, and there's the screenshot, and the name will be screenshot 2 resource pool and vApp created. So I'll put that there, screenshot 2. I'm just putting it in WhatsApp. Resource pool and vApp created. So that's in the WhatsApp now. And also here, resource pool and vApp created. Okay guys, so before we go for virtual machine management, there's that other topic as well, and that is when I press enter, then it does that. Okay. So the other topic is the import. Yeah, so it's OVF dash OVA. So what are those? And so OVF and OVA, we can just import export the virtual machine from to and from our environment, Suppose you want to export a virtual machine and take it to in your USB or external drive. You copy that after exporting the virtual machine, and then you're traveling to another branch and you want to import there, so you can do that. So open so OVF is open virtual format, open virtualization format, and OVA is open virtualization appliance. So the main purpose again is to do the import export. We import slash export virtual machines. We import export virtual machines to and from our vCenter or hypervisor, right? Hypervisor. Okay, so it's import and export. So how do we do that? So we're going to try it now. So let us go ahead and if we go back to our vCenter here, hopefully everyone's there. So you can see that first of all we have the virtual machines inside the vApp. So we need to get it out of the vApp. Again, for UI guys, hopefully that's okay and doable. So I just need to right click on the VM01 and go move to, and where am I exporting it? To the root of the hypervisor ESXi01, right? So when I right click and move to it and click the move to, then I can select TorDC. Where in TorDC? Host and clusters. Where in host and clusters? ESXi01. So but I'll just not go in lower than ESXi. I'm just going to select ESXi01 and press OK. So my virtual machine. So we did that before as well. I just need to take out the second machine, second vApp machine as well. So I'm just gonna right click and move to here as well, and under TorDC, then host and clusters, and the root is ESXi01. So I need to move both machines out of the vApp into the root of the hypervisor ESXi01. So I'm just gonna press OK here, and so the machines are out now from vApp. If I collapse the vApp or open it, the machine, it doesn't move anything. So this means vApp is empty now, right? So if it is empty, so now we can try to export our VM there. So the scenario now is, how do we export a VM from out of this vCenter? So if you right click on any of the VM, I have right clicked on VM01, and there is that template written there, right? So right click any of the VM, right? If you right click any of the VM and you see template there, then there is an export Ovf template. So I hope everyone is seeing that. And if you have let's just click that export Ovf template. Ovf is open virtual format or virtualization format, and we're about to export this virtual machine. So it is your first name VM01 or whichever machine you took. Format is folder of files Ovf, and then there is annotation if you want to put any. Otherwise, enable advanced options is also there. If you click the enable advanced options, so there is include BIOS UUID or universal unique identification, include MAC addresses, include extra configuration. So this unique information about the virtual machine is, a majority of the cases when you're exporting, you don't need to include all this because when this virtual machine is imported, suppose you're exporting from Toronto, that data center VMware environment, and then you go to New York, and then you're importing it to the New York data center virtualization environment. So they will provide on that the vCenter there will provide the MAC address, extra information, BIOS, IOID. If you want this unique information to be there, then it's up to you. Otherwise, in majority of the cases, this is provided with the destination as well. So we don't need to provide that. I'm just gonna uncheck that, enable advanced options. So this is, as soon as we right click that option, we're just back on that window, and what we can do is press O and hey, it didn't ask for destination. Why? Is that it? So Kavita says I'm getting option image files as well. Well, if I press OK here, preparing for download, and it should ask me where to put it in our server 2. Mine has image files, include image files attached to floppy. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna put that screenshot here, although it just downloaded to my downloads folder in the server 2. But this is what if you're getting this, include image files attached to floppy and CD DVD devices in the OVF package. So guys, this happens when if your virtual CD DVD has an ISO attached to it, right? In my case, I think it's not attached to, the ISO is not attached to my virtual machine, the ISO of Windows 2016 or ISO of Windows 2012, right? So in that case, you won't see that. Oh, there you go. Iman says, because there's no. So if it is showing there and checked, it's okay. You can, actually, guys, better uncheck it. Because you don't want the link of the ISO attached to be exported as well. So uncheck it. If you can, uncheck actually both options. We're not gonna check any of those. Uncheck both options and press OK. If it lets you go ahead, then it's okay. Otherwise, show me the error that you're seeing there as well. But uncheck both options. And it actually downloaded it in my downloads folder here. The 3 files, the manifest file, MF, the VMDK, and OVF. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna click that arrow. I'm gonna go in the show in folder, right? So any of these files, if you click arrow here and click in show in folder. So once you click show in folder, so that's where it actually exported it in 3 files. It used to also offer in 6.0, the older version, 2 ways to export. One is .ova, other is .ovf. OVF always has 3 files, and OVA always has just 1 zipped file, right? So why it has exported it in 3 files? Because, well, first of all, that's the way VMware supports it. Second thing is that OVF, when you export in OVF, so this means that you are giving it to someone, and that person can still has an option to edit the VMDK or the virtual disk file of the virtual machine. You can just attach that VMDK to any other virtual machine, and you can just use that data and copy that data as well. So manifest file and .ovf file. OVF files for export. Manifest file is like a configuration file. It has the information about the whole virtual machine, and the VMDK file has all the data, actual data of the virtual machine. So these are 3 files that it gets exported in, and you just have to save it somewhere. You can just attach that VMDK to any other virtual machine and grab or see the data inside as well. Okay, so Brahim says it's 4 GB file he got. So Brahim, I exported my virtual machine from an empty machine. You exported that from an operating system based machine. So that's the difference. It's the ISO that's 4 GB, so you exported the ISO with it. Okay, but is it the size of the VMDK itself? If it's the size of the VMDK only file here, then that's the installed operating system. Maybe you have VMDK 7 KB. Oh, so if you have checked that option and pressed OK, then yeah, it actually exported that as well, 4 GB file. OVF is 7 KB. So what is the size of VMDK? Mine is 71 KB because it was I exported the empty version.
I stopped downloading because these are 4 GB and
You stop downloading. You're in the middle of it. So it did not finish.
I stopped downloading.
So it's just the operating system inside that which is taking the size here. So guys, once we have exported it, now let's practice importing it as well. So how do we import a machine which we have exported? Oh, it's taking time. Okay.
Time because big files, I think.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's an operating system file, so it's gonna go up to 8 or 10 GB, I think. So we could, yeah, I could have said that, hey, let's export an empty machine, so we would all be done with that. So it's the same procedure with operating system or without an operating system. The procedure is same.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's showing that it's downloading one of my ISOs. Is that correct?
So yeah, it's getting. Guys, or Paul, you have unchecked this option. I'm showing that again. Guys, did you all, those who were seeing that, did you uncheck it or did you kept it checked?
I unchecked.
Okay, and include image files attached to floppy and CD/DVD in the OVF package. So it was unchecked and still it is downloading the ISO. Normally it should be just the virtual disk size.
Now it's okay for VM02. It is empty, and I uncheck this option, and now it's okay.
Cool. But when it says downloading ISO, it's just that it could be also the size of the actual virtual.
It's showing Paul VM01 .iso. Then the OVF is done. The VMK is also still downloading.
Oh, VMDK is downloading and ISO is separately downloading.
Yes, 3 files.
So aren't you guys seeing MF manifest file? Okay, so guys, it's taking time. You can just even cancel it and go for the other empty machine and do it, because it's yeah. So you can just go ahead and cancel the VM01 and start the VM02 and download it, so we could start importing it as well.
Sir, I'm getting MF and OVF. Only 2 files.
But not VMDK?
No.
Oh, that's strange. Without VMDK, it can't really export. You can try again with VM02.
Yeah, I did with VM02 only.
And so you can see, guys, here 3 files are here, right? MF, VMDK, OVF. So you don't see VMDK, right? 3 files in the browser.
Yeah.
Okay, try again with that same machine, or actually try it with the other machine, or you can just create a new machine and try this, because this is weird. So delete these files and then try with the same machine as well if you want.
Okay.
But guys, try to go with the empty machine. It's just unnecessary time of downloading that is kind of waste of time. We could just go ahead and learn something more important instead of waiting for the ISO file to be downloaded. So try to cancel the download and go for the second machine, or create a new empty machine and then download, export that. So is it anyone still?
So my second machine is in vApp because I'm using the UI extension, and I told you that I'm just changing one of the machines.
Oh, so it's not getting out of the vApp then?
Yeah, so I have to stick with this download.
Okay. Okay. That's very strange. If I refresh. So Sneha is showing a screenshot as well. The last option failed for the entity with the following error: provider method implementation through unexpected exception. vApp structure proxy caused operation failed due to. That's a very good explanation of why it was not able to do that. So Sneha, you can go for the first machine as well and try that. Sometimes the machines that we have created, we have experimented on that, and they might show different kinds of errors. Also, you could make sure that it is gone out of the vApp. We have taken it out of the vApp, and then we are exporting it, not within the vApp.
Sir, I tried for the first machine as well, and it's not under vApp, and I got the same error. Maybe I can just keep on trying.
Refresh the browser or sign out, sign in from the browser, and then try again.
Okay, sir, I'll try that.
Same error for both machines. Firoz says same error for both machines. Ouch. So refresh the browser and try again. Sign out, sign in. And also in... so when I refresh, then first the move to option goes away. Then when I refresh, it just comes back again. So the browser is not showing everything when it's and refreshing. Like after refresh, you can see that again the option is working. Oh, sure. So guys, you can also see how it is started on VM1. Okay, so Kavita says starting on VM1. So guys, you can also see how it is imported, because and you can try that later as well. How in your side, if it is not working, let me just show you how it is imported if majority are there already, and let me know those who are falling behind when you're there. So if I right click on E6i1 and there is deploy Ovf template, this one. So you can right click on E6i1 or E6i2, and well, I have that machine actually here in E6i1, so I'm going to actually go to the other hypervisor. Suppose you export it from E6i2, you can import it in E6i1, and the same thing if you export it from E6i1, import it in E6i2. So I'm going to E6i2 now to import it, right? But where's the link for that? This is the link. So when we export, we right click on the machine and we go for template and export Ovf template. When we import, we go to the hypervisor and then we can go for deploy Ovf template. So I'll just click that deploy Ovf template here. And now it is asking where is the file, and it says .ovf, .vmdk, etc. Right? So it's just asking local file. So I'm just going to click browse, and where's that downloads folder? So all three files are there. We could have just created a new folder as well, and then we would have put that file there, these three files there as well. So it's just saying that, hey, give me either OVF file or a VMDK file. So I'm just going to double click OVF, and it says one file selected, click next to validate. So it's going to try to check. So in the same folder, other files should be there as well, right? So I selected OVF, and then if I click next, so if it validates, then it will say, oh, where is the other file? You have to select all. So one required file is missing. Browse again and use multiple selection to reselect the Ovf template and all required files. So just one file upload is not enough. We have to go back to browse and we have to select all the files, and then it will detect. So it's not just that it's going to detect in the folder. It has to be uploaded, or all files have to be selected, and click open. And now there are use multiple selection. Yeah, it was saying all this time, but I didn't do that. So 3 files selected, click next to validate. So we have to select all files and then go ahead, and now it says, oh, it detects the your first name, VM01. So where do you want to put that? Well, I got NYDC because I right clicked and started from NYDC. So it's just showing NYDC here, and click next. So in NYDC data center, where do you want to, which hypervisor you want to export? So we have just one hypervisor in that NYDC data center. So that is selected. Next. Wow. It's thinking. So it says verify the template details, download size unknown, size on disk thick provisioned. You're kidding me. Unknown thin provisioned. So it detects some of the settings, but yes, we know that we create this file with thin provision. So, well, nothing here in details. Yep. Ajibola says I have an error. A virtual machine template or vApp with the same name already exists in the selected location. So change the name of the virtual machine, Ajibola. So if I go back, are we able to change? Yeah, we can change the name here. So go back to the second option. Just change the name it to VM03. In fact, guys, that's a good idea. We can actually put it 3 because later we may need to migrate this machine from E6i2 to E6i1, and one already has the exact same name machine, your first name VM01. So, or 2. Suppose it was 2 you got, so go for 3. If you already have a 3, you can go for 4. So any next sequentially available number, you can just put it, but different number. You can come back here and just change the number here. And then go ahead again. Next, yes, it is inside NYDC data center and E6i2. Next, then it is wow, it's validating. Okay, review details here, and I'll click next. Select storage. So those are all the regular options here, right? Select storage, and if I click that thin provision, just make sure it is not thick provision in the storage, and thin provision, and obviously the LAN based data store. So that's what we normally always go for. So thin provision and LAN based data store, right? That's it. Thin provision, LAN based data store, and next. Then it says which network. So it's the default port group named VM-network is what's selected, which is okay. And next, so now it's finalizing that. Oh, okay. So source VM is VM01, but the name of this VM is VM03, right? So then we click finish, and it is explaining in recent tasks that 3 of the files are being used, and 0% showing here on E6i2. So they're just being moved, imported. So first we exported it on server 2. From server 2 over the network, they're being imported to E6i2. Since it's an empty machine, so there is not a lot of weight here. It just is finishing it fast. So the last one is 0% for me. Is it done for anyone? I think it started. So Kavita says still downloading. Okay. Brahim says there is no XML files. Like no XML file. So it's MF, which is manifest file, which has all the information. That would be the alternate for XML. There is MF or manifest file here. So Shabuddin is okay. Ajibola says import completed. Yay! Shabaddin says, yay. Oh, I mean, yes. No, we cannot read the MF files. Well, you can try to right click and open a notepad. And it's supposed to be top secret. If they have enabled that functionality, that's another thing. But we were not able to open that.
So can you please repeat, because just now my OVF has downloaded.
Okay, so it is. Yeah, you have to right click on E6IE, whichever you want, or the other one, whichever the other one, and then select this deploy Ovf template. Yeah, so Brian says samosa then, or kheer. Okay, so Amarjeet says of deployment machine. So can we take the screenshot of deployment of machine successfully? Okay guys, so yeah, that's a screenshot demand number 3. So screenshot number 3 demand. So yeah, if your machine has been successfully imported to E6I2, that's screenshot number 3. So imported successfully, that's what you can say. OVF imported successfully. So okay, deploy OVF template here and then click it. Once you click the deploy OVF template, then you have to local file, then you click browse, and wherever your 3 files are, you have to press on the shift button on the keyboard and then select all 3, and then click open. So it will just load all 3 files, and then next, validate.
So it says browse again and multiple section.
Yeah, you selected one
It
file.
says that I require ISO 2.
Yeah, go browse. And did you select all the files or did you select one file?
No, I selected 3 files, but it says that I need ISO also.
Oh, did you download ISO as well? So select ISO as well. You see that there? So then,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, then you can click next, and it's pretty much next. Oh, no, it's not letting me go ahead. Oops. What happened here? Next, validating, yes. Then you just change the file name to 301-203. Firoz says,
Okay.
yeah. And then next, I wasn't able to export, import, but I cloned it to E6I2.
Am I supposed to select NYDC or TOR DC here?
Because you right clicked on any one of those, so they are different, so it would be detected. So yeah, if you put 3 here, then click next. And E6I2 is already selected, I mean detected, so we can click next. Oh, Esnia says, I'm still getting that error, unable to download. So Esnia, you can create a new empty virtual machine and you can import export at that time. So you can, when you upload the document, you can just put that I was not able to do that because of an error. It's okay, you can upload the document at the end of the class. Yeah, try to create a new virtual machine because the 2 virtual machines for some reason are not really exporting. Okay, so import OVF package is always 0%. Oh, okay, then next, then you have to select thin provision here, and select one of the LUN-based data store, and next, and that's nothing in the networks. Oh, and then finish. So okay, so 0% for okay, the OVF. Youngton says 0% here too. Sneha says, okay, thank you. I will create a new one and check. Okay, sure, welcome. So guys, this is import export, not a big deal here. You just need to know where to right click and where not to. So if you were not all able to do that, then you can just say that in screenshot 3, you can just type in front of screenshot 3 that my download was on 0%, or just some error occurred. Just say that and it's okay. So but the thing is, it's recorded here in the video as well, and you know the procedure. That's the main thing. If you were not able to do that, it's okay. On screenshot 3, you can just say that it took too long or there was an error. You don't have to put the screenshot number 3. Okay, so okay, Brian says now completed. That's good. So I'm just gonna I have imported that machine as your first name VM03 now, right? And those who are not able to complete, it's okay. Just in the document, screenshot number 3. So those who were able to complete, in fact, I also did not take that screenshot, so I'm just gonna take that screenshot now. Screenshot 3 is this area, and so it's imported OVF successfully. We can just name that as imported OVF. Actually, I'll just mark it as well. Imported OVF successfully. Okay, import screenshot 3, imported OVF successfully. Alright guys, so next one is virtual machine management. So guys, ignore if you were, okay, that's good, done. So you can ignore if it's just 0% or it's not going ahead and it's taking time, but just create a screenshot 3, and you can actually take a screenshot of that download 0% if you that would be even more supporting that okay, there was an error actually. So whichever percentage is there, you can just take that screenshot. So in my case also, OVF is showing here in the recent tasks here as 0%, but one day, Monday or Sunday, it's going to complete, so it's okay. I can just refresh on top here on the browser, and no, that doesn't make a difference. So it's going to complete its process, whatever time it takes. So we can just so we have to try to check what is this process of that's it. So import and export, and then there is that v import export virtual machine as well. So we're gonna just oh, okay, that's what I just did. Why was I reading that? Virtual standard switch, and before that actually virtual machine management. Yeah, this one we were supposed to do virtual machine management, and that's where we see that how to create templates, and what is custom configuration, and also how to create clones. So this is virtual machine management. You get when you are at the contract or a job, you get these kind of tickets a lot that hey, you want to you need to create 1 clone, 2 clone, 5 clone, 10 clones, right? Or you want to create a new template machine. So let's go ahead and try to explore those machine creation features. And if we get back to our, so now I'm just going to go for E6I01 here. One more thing, where's my E6I01? Oh, it's back inside. So I'm just going to right click and move it to outside. I think I put it back to vApp just to, so I'm just gonna put it outside because there's some more use. So guys, everyone has your virtual machine outside of vApp? Yes. If not, you can quickly create another machine. Right click on 601, go for new virtual machine, and new virtual machine like that, right? So but if you have it the machine outside, that's also okay. So now if we right click on the virtual machine, so let's right click on E6501, and once you right click on E6501, then there's new virtual machine here, and that new virtual machine, we have created already a new virtual machine, right? But now let's explore the other options that are there. So we're going to click that new virtual machine here, and you can see that there's a create new virtual machine, and then there's a deploy from template, clone an existing virtual machine, clone virtual machine to template, clone template to template, and convert template to virtual machine. So all these options are there. So first one is obviously create a new virtual machine, which we already know, but what is then deploy from template? So this means that if you have a template is a golden image. So a template is a golden image of a virtual machine that lets you easily create ready for use virtual machines. You must have a template to proceed with this option. So what is the main purpose of template? Anyone knows? Main purpose of template?
To quickly create VMs.
Cloning, quickly create VMs, pre-configured settings, exactly. So these are some of the options there. So deploy from template. So first of all, what happens in template that suppose there's a marketing department, and there is a sales department here, and then there's admin and other departments, right? So they say that marketing department says that, okay, whenever we request for a new virtual machine from you, the virtualization administrator, so our virtual machine should have some obviously the OS and all the patches, latest patches on the OS, all the drivers that it needs to be installed, and other than that, the applications that marketing department wants there. So MKS, marketing department apps, so whatever apps they ask, right? And then sales department say that, okay, in our virtual machine, when we order clones for that, so please don't have obviously marketing applications. So there will be maybe their own sales apps that they have purchased licenses for, and whenever they wanted new clones, that their apps should be there, and the rest of the applications like antivirus or also WinZip and common application, Adobe Reader, right? So those would be installed after that, whichever department requested, whatever types of specific configured settings and configured clones. So this is also the same thing for this drivers there, patches there, and OS and all the other applications here. So you would create a golden image. That is called golden image, which means that you have configured an image in such a way that now when you create a copy of this or clone it, so you don't have to install a lot of things. All common things are all there. All common configurations and applications are all there. And then however the department later wants to customize, go ahead. But so much time will be saved when you have a golden image or pre-configured applications and configurations that you don't have to configure again and again when you create a new virtual machine. Simply clone it and then customize it. So obviously this option is showing here deploy from template. So obviously we should have a template so we could deploy from it, but we don't have a template yet, right? So then the next option is clone an existing virtual machine. Oh, so existing virtual machine, this means that it is not necessarily a template. So what would be the difference if you had cloned from a template or if you clone from a virtual machine? Is there something wrong with that? Is something right with that? What's the difference? Anyone knows? So I clone from a virtual machine, I clone from a template. Is there a big difference? Something can go wrong? Okay, so if any says yes, there's a difference. Oh, what's the difference? Like, what can go wrong? If you, yeah.
When you clone from my own view, I feel if you clone from an existing virtual machine, you make a copy, you make an exact copy of that machine with all the configurations in it. But if you clone from a template, you're only creating a copy of the pre-configured configuration. So it's not complete. You still have to do some other configurations to it to set up what you want, but with the existing VM, it would be complete. That's what I feel.
Kinda, but there's a very big difference between existing virtual machine, a virtual machine that was working, and all of a sudden you want a copy of that or a template. So yeah, on virtual machine you may be using that, and end users might be using that regularly, and you will have a lot of modifications done on daily basis. While template, it's end users are not connecting to that, so there are no modifications there, right? But that's not the difference here. The difference is the SID. So what is SID? It is security identifier. So what's the deal with that? What is it? Security identifier. Oh, seriously, identifier. Whew, I made it. Yay. Okay, so security identifier. When you create a template, you shut it down with a specific utility called. Anyone knows that? How do you shut down finally template? This utility is called sysprep. Yes, you're right. Actually, nobody said anything. So yeah, sysprep. When you suppose you have installed OS, then you check the drivers, then you check the patches, applications, and sales applications. All features are installed. Even the patches of the new updates of the applications are also installed. When you see that it is the perfect machine, then you need to shut it down. This is about to be a template, right? Suppose. So you need to shut it down with sysprep. Oh, syspress. Did I say syspress? Sysprep. So sysprep is going to make every clone a unique clone. This is the specialty of sysprep. Sysprep is always used when you are about to create a template from a clone. Seriously, clone from a template. I think I really need samosas. Okay, so yeah, when you create a clone from a template, so that template was created when you shut down that template with a sysprep. What does that do? It gives every machine a unique SID. What is a SID? It's like a alphanumeric number here, WE3810FG, something like that, right? So it's a long alphanumeric character or address, we can say. But once the unique SID is given to every clone, they will not have any conflict with each other, and Windows clones can join to domain easily if they have similar SID. Every clone has similar SID. First of all, this is only possible when you have shut down the template without running sysprep, or if you are copying an existing virtual machine that has definitely not been shut down with sysprep. So when you create a copy of that machine here, and then the new clone, you create a new name, but their SIDs will be same. So the new clone will never be able to join the domain in a Microsoft domain, or it will have many problems over the network because the security identifier is exactly the same. When you copy an existing virtual machine or clone existing virtual machine, that's the only problem here. And that's a big problem actually, that SID will remain the same. Otherwise, if you are doing this step, you should shut it down with sysprep and then do that. Then it will have a unique clone on the other machine. There's a third way. If you still want to have a copy of this machine here, just make sure that you separately run sysprep on the other machine, so it will have a separate unique identifier. But that sysprep actually removes a lot of your what you copied from there. So in any case, if you're doing that, don't introduce that clone in the same environment, or better run sysprep on it, or better create a clone from a template that gives you unique SID, right? So SIDs cannot be similar, otherwise virtual machines will have conflicts. So that's why there's a problem with that. You want to copy it, then just take it somewhere else, export it somewhere else, that copy, and introduce it in some other environment, then it's okay. So then there is clone virtual machine to template. That's also unique. What do you do with that? Clone virtual machine to template. So what does that mean? A virtual machine can be cloned into a template. So this means that a virtual machine that is already configured with all the drivers, patches, and OS, you want to convert it or make a template out of this. So that virtual machine that is perfectly ready now, you want to create a template out of this, right? So that's what this means, that you want to create a template out of this machine. So use this option. Clone template to template. This just means that suppose there's a New York department virtualization admin came to Toronto virtualization department, and he or she sees that, oh, you have a template and that is perfectly configured, all these configurations are good, can I have a copy of that? So you can actually clone a template of your make a clone of your template to make another template and give that to the other administrator, or you want to take a backup of this template in this exact format of template, so you can clone it as well and keep it somewhere safe. So you can create a copy of a template, that is clone template to template. And convert template to virtual machine. So convert template to virtual machine just means that this is suppose a template now, right? So and you're creating so many clones out of that. Maybe you've created 100 clones already out of that, and it's been 6 months now that you've creating clones out of that. So after 6 months, boss says, hey, you're giving clones which were patched 6 months ago. So why are you giving old configurations there? Didn't you update the template? And you said, sorry boss, I forgot. Okay, let me just update that template as well. So then you can use this option to convert a template into a normal working virtual machine again, and then install the new patches, update the new drivers, update the install the updates of the applications as well, and then again then what you can do, suppose that template has been updated after 6 months, you've updated everything, then you can go for clone virtual machine to template, this option. So this option and this option, they are used side by side. Convert template to machine, you do that when you have to update the template again, and once you have updated, you can go back to this option, clone virtual machine to template, right? So it's a template again, start creating clones again. Now it is fully updated with latest patches, right? So these are all the options which you will get the tickets for as well. So I'm just going to let's just do some of the labs here as well for these options. So I'm just gonna make a screenshot of that, and I'll put it here. So that's for the virtual machine management. Okay, so now guys, first of all, the option says here deploy from template, right? So we don't have a template, so we need a template first. So let's create a template now, right? So how do we do that? If we go down here, clone an existing virtual machine, no, that's not gonna make us a template, although it's gonna make us a copy, right? So no, that's not the option that we want to use now. But then this option comes, clone virtual machine to template. So yes, I want to create a template out of an existing virtual machine, and we are assuming that I have installed everything. You have installed all the OS patches and applications, and it is a perfect machine, and you have also shut it down with sysprep. If you have done all that carefully, then after that you go for clone virtual machine to template, because you're about to create hundreds of clones out of this template, right? And those clones will be directly placed in production environment after some customization. So you have to be careful what you do here, carefully creating all the machines, right? So we're gonna click that clone virtual machine to template. Now my suggestion is, guys, let's make a template out of an empty machine so it will finish faster. If you make a clone out of a operating system based machine, so good luck. I mean, it might take 1 hour for you to simply complete that, or it will take a long time. The creating template process is the same whether you have an operating system or not. So clone virtual machine to template. Let's select that fourth one and click next. So then let's go for Tor DC. Once you select Tor DC, so it's actually saying select a virtual machine to clone. So clone to a template. We're not creating a clone, we're making a template out of this virtual machine. So again, what I said was that go for an empty one. In my case, VM02 is empty. So if you go for empty and then click next. So we suppose this is that machine that you perfectly created and shut it down with sysprep, right? Now it's ready to be created as a template. So when we create a template, one more thing. So I click the next and this is the option. But one more thing I need to explain. Is it going to create or make this very machine a template? Or is it going to create another copy of it and that copy will be a template? Can you guess this? Because what do you think it will do? It's about to create a template. Will this machine be our template? Or will it make a copy of it that will be a template? This means this machine will still survive. So Feroz says no, it will clone. So this means that this very machine will become a template, which means you're converting this machine to a template. No, okay. So yeah, you meant the other thing. So it will make a copy of this and that copy will be a template, but this one, after making a copy of it, this one will just keep on working the same, or you can just shut it down or whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so yes, it will make a copy of it and that copy will be a template. So let's go for we're creating a copy of VM02, right? Or I'm at least. So your your first name VM02 dash template. So we're creating a template out of that machine. So it will create a copy of it and that copy will become a template. So if you have selected that dash template, then click next. So on E6501, yeah, or E6502 in NYDC, whichever, it's okay. And next. And yeah, it again, as usual, asks which storage. So we can go for DS1, whichever you want, DS2, DS0, DS1, whichever. I'm just selecting DS1. And I know that the virtual machine was created as thin provision. I'm just gonna still select thin provision here, right? Thin provision and DS1 or 2 or 0, whichever. And next. And that's it. Let's click finish. So we're expecting a template to be created now, right? So finish. So, oh, is it done already? Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, it is done. For me, it is done. Wow, that was fast. Okay, guys. So, task for you is power on that template machine, right? Power on the template machine, not this one whose template was created, but the template machine itself. So go ahead. I'm gonna give you that task. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. So power on that template machine in 1 minute. Okay, so Himan has already, ruined all the surprise. Thank you very much. So, hey, let them search, man. Nope, OS? No, power on means even without OS. At least it will power on to the BIOS, right? So I'm not talking about this machine whose clone we created, but the template machine. Where is the template machine, first of all? Not this one. This is not template. This is just a virtual machine. Where is the template machine? Okay, now anyone knows you can. Template machine created, right? Because in the recent task it is saying created. So where it is? So this one is not template. Don't go for this one.
Or down in the recent objects, you can see viewed and created. I clicked created and the template machine was there.
Okay, so Himan, oh okay, but Himan already knows all that, so Guys, go to this VMs and templates here. So we have a VCP already here, man. So that's very good. So go to VMs and templates and then Tor DC. So you can see that template is here. Whenever you create a template, it will always land here. It will not be in hosts and clusters. It will be in VMs and templates. So let's power it on now. This template, right? So if everyone has powered on, then we need to take a screenshot of where you have powered it on successfully, right? So that would be screenshot number 4. So Ovf Template says we can create machine from template. Yes, we can create machine from template. Exactly. Now this is a template. Now we can create machine. Yeah. Alright guys, so I'm gonna right click and power it on. You don't have the power on option? You don't? Okay. So guys, yes, that's the other point here, that you cannot power on a template. It's a template, exactly. So that's the other thing. I wanted you to search for that option, and then obviously that's it. There is no power on option because templates cannot be powered on. You have to convert them to virtual machine to power on, make all the changes again, and then clone the template back again. That's the procedure for that, right? So we cannot power on a template. This is it, right? So that's good. And if the template has been created, that's your screenshot number 4, template created. So take your screenshot number 4, template created. So I'll just so I'll put it on WhatsApp, screenshot number 4, template created. So that's screenshot number 4. Oops, I forgot to. Okay. Okay, that's screenshot 4 equals template created. Okay, once that is created, I have placed it in. Okay, I'll put it on WhatsApp, but my cell phone. So that would be screenshot for template created. Okay, so let's go ahead and so guys, so what else we can do with this template? Actually, what can we do? We haven't done anything, so why I'm saying else. So you can see here that if you right click on the template here, so there's a new VM from this template. Okay, right? And then there is convert to virtual machine. So it's going to convert to virtual machine because you need to, if you need to update anything after every month or every 15 days or every 6 months, or clone to template. So you want to create another clone template out of this or copy of this, and then clone to library. Library is when we create a shared folder, Linux based shared folder, then that is called library. So you can save it there as well. So what we can choose here is new VM from this template, Z's one, right? So let's just choose that new VM from temp and laid. So new VM from this template. Let's click that, and okay, now we got the screenshots. Yep, so the template is created and college is showing that. This is it. Okay guys, so once you create a new VM from template, so you can just name it something as well. So it's clone of VM02-template. Wow, what a long name. Oh, it didn't write, seriously. Clone VM02-template. So we can just name it exactly what we're doing with it. So we're making a clone out of a template, right? Okay, so here now you've given a name and it's on gonna the clone will be created on TorDC next, and then there is it's just saying that select a compute resource or where you would you which hypervisor you will use. So it is E6501 or E6502, whichever. So let's click next. This is also okay, and then well, what we select already here, whichever data store and also thin provision, just to be on the safe side, thin provision or whichever DST data store, and long based data store, that is. And then next. Now guys, be careful here. We need to explore some more options here, right? So it gives you huge flexibility here, where on this page, customize the operating system. Customize this virtual machine's hardware, experimental, okay. So we cannot customize virtual machine's hardware, which is also called virtual hardware. This virtual machine's hardware does not mean physical CPU, physical RAM. Virtual CPU, virtual RAM, virtual disk, virtual network card, right? So that's what it says, but it's experimental. And then power on virtual machine after creation. So we're gonna stick to this, customize the operating system, because there are so many other features there, right? So we're just exploring that. We're not actually going to create a machine out of this customization. We are just exploring those options here. So it's not going to work as well, because some of the customization requirements we won't be able to fulfill here. So just select that to explore the options, what is inside the customization option. So once you select that, click next. Once you click next, then you can see that there's a document sign here, and it says customize the guest OS to prevent conflicts when you deploy the virtual machine. So what is this document? So let's click that small document. It's going to give you just a lot of more options that you want to put in a clone, right? So we're just exploring those options. So if you click that, now you can see that it just opens another window having a lot of options. So it's just saying that, oh, you want to create a document of customized specification, right? So this is a specification document that you can create. Now this document will always be saved here, and you want to create attach that document to any future clones, then you can attach that. So first we're exploring what is this document, what are the number of customizations there. Either you have a use custom sysprep answer file. Ever heard of answer file before? Ever heard anywhere what is answer file? In what situation you use answer file?
No.
Now. Oh, okay. Oh, now I get what you were saying. I was thinking, okay, so it's now. Yeah. So it says answer file is used. I don't have this option. Guys, do you all see this option? Like, I didn't check it, but you should see that. Mass installation of Windows. Exactly, if any says that. Mass installation of Windows. So if you ever heard of a term called zero touch installation, right?
Yeah.
And unattended installation. So another, yeah, right? Unattended installation. Exactly. So answer file is just that if you're deploying 100 machines over the network and you don't want to go to each machine and click. So they will get the answer from an answer file over the network. All 100 machines will get that answer, and they will keep on deploying without any user input. So, okay. Now here, answer file, we don't have that. It's another big skill. It's a very important skill. I did teach that in 70 in MCSA, how to create an answer file. It was a 4-hour lab just to create an answer file. So anyway, we're gonna go for new customization specification, and you can say that okay, it's a company standard specs. Company standard specs, right? So and then click next. So once you click next here after writing something or company standard specs, then you can see now this is just computer name, Windows license, administrator password, time zone, run once, configure network, set work group or domain, set up, right? So all this. So we can just give your first name here and organization. It's you know, whatever, ABC. So company A, whatever. So just whatever the company name is and your name and Humber. Oh yeah, we have an organization actually. So Humber. Next. So there it asks for a name, but it also says that append a numeric value to ensure uniqueness. The name will be truncated if combined with the numeric value it exceeds 15 characters. So if it is more than 15 characters, then it will just simply put a smaller name, choose a smaller name. So if we go for your first name, actually we put that name there, but it's a actually this machine we will not be able to create, but just go for your first name VM04. You know, it's gonna end up in an error, so we're gonna ignore that because we're just exploring the features here. So guys, one more thing is use the virtual machine name, and then there's an enter a name in the clone deploy wizard. So it's just that you put a name there. If it is longer name, it's gonna truncate that. So you put some name there and click next, right? And then product key. So now let's purchase a product key here. If you are if you have a rich uncle, just let me know, and or give his or her credit uncle or credit card here. Yeah, Paul. Hey, you were busy saying that, and we went ahead, right? Come on, man. This is the name. Your first name VM04. Okay, so can you please show last? There's so many. I think I went ahead too fast, or I thought I was too slow. So name is your first name, organization is Humber. Next is enter name, your first name VM04. So this is your first name VM04. That's it. And click next. Right? Let's give some machine name. Okay, so here we don't have a product key here, so that's one of the reasons that it's going to give now an error, and we don't need this virtual machine again and again. I'm saying, so I'm gonna uncheck that, but per seat, per server, you can just select whichever option you want. If you have a product key, you can give here. We don't have. Let's just uncheck that, right? Let's click next. And the password, well, we're not gonna create that machine, so we don't need to give a password. But okay, anyway, can't resist this. This is irresistible. Password is being asked, and we must give. Okay, it has to be same password. Small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3. Small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 2 3. Class password, and just click next. Go ahead. Right. Hopefully, I'm not going fast. And yes, then there is that time zone. Just go for East. Well, there's a Pacific, Central, Eastern. Okay, Eastern time, US and Canada. Next, right? Eastern time is Canada. Why are we even correcting it? Because we're not going to use this machine. So time zone is Eastern, US Canada. Then run once. So normally when you create scripts here, those are scripts that you want them to run when you log in, right? So whatever scripts you want to put there, they will run when you log into the machine. So we don't have any script, so we can just click next. Use the standard network settings for the guest operating system, including enabling DHCP on all network interfaces. You want to configure specifically. So this is just the amount of flexibility they are offering. That's what they're showing here. So we're going to keep it to one network card that is getting IP from DHCP. So no changes on this page on configure network, and click next. And if you want this machine to automatically join the domain, then you can do it from here. You can give the domain details and the username password of that has the privilege to join the domain, right? Okay, so we don't have a domain here. Actually, we have a domain, but this will not create a machine that will join the domain, and there is no operating system in that machine which we are creating anyway. But you could do that and it can automatically join the domain. So next, nothing to do on this page, and next, right? And then this is what we really need always when you're creating a new clone, generate new security ID. So that's the big deal here. If you create a clone, it better have a new SID. If it does not, that clone will give you error. Okay, so it is selected here, but we don't have any operating system inside, so obviously you're gonna get an error when you do create that virtual machine. But now we have explored all the options, and next, that's it, just the review and finito. So it's gonna go back to the previous wizard from which we came, right? So let's click finish here. I hope everyone's there, hopefully. Okay, so now you can see that the other wizard started. Hopefully it started for everyone. Ready? Wow. So if you are on this screen, so you have created a document with specific configurations. This means you can create multiple documents here, and you can attach any of the other documents where you have configured it differently to any of the clones that you create. So you can create multiple documents with different configurations, one department, second department, third department, whatever, right? So we're gonna have to select this to go ahead. So we're gonna just simply select it. You can edit it as well if you want, but we're just gonna select it and click next. And that's it. So when you create a clone out of a template, this much flexibility is there. That's what we are exploring, right? Now this machine, we're not interested in that because and also it's gonna give an error because there's no operating system inside, right? So I'm gonna click finish here, and it's gonna start creating, and then it's gonna give a error, which is okay. Ignore that, right? So error, which is okay, and ignore that. Last screen. Oh, Kavita, last screen I can't show because I click finish, right? So you can put a screenshot there, or you can ask what was on. Oh, okay, done. So guys, you can see that there is an error that I got, and I guess everyone got this. So it's just saying that Windows 7 server support guest, it's not Linux guest, and it's Vista TM. So there is some weird error here, but that was not, the main purpose was not to create an actual virtual machine, but to explore all the options and the in-depth flexibility they are offering, right? And the customization file. So if that is done and you got the error as well, you must get an error. If you did not get an error, then 2 marks will be cut from you, right? Just kidding. Okay, so that's one thing. You can create, we can go back to the template here, right? And if we right click, so we say that, oh, okay, so a new VM from this template, we were able to do this much, what we just did now, right? And convert to virtual machine, that is what is next, which means that if, that's the next scenario now, right? Your template is old, and when you create a clone, it has older patches, and you actually want to convert it to a virtual machine so you could upgrade it. Now, again, the question to you would be, will this template, when we are converting to a virtual machine, will this template create a separate copy of a machine and make that a working virtual machine, or will this template itself become a virtual machine if we go for this option? What do you think? Itself. So Khalid Ibrahim says it will itself become a virtual machine. Okay, so Feroz also says that, Badr also says that. Okay, so everyone's, many of us are convinced that it's, so the wording is convert. So this means, so if it says, it had said copy, which was the first time when we were creating the template machine, so it would have created a separate machine and made a template. So let's click the convert to virtual machine. So this very template will be gone, and it will, instead it will be a virtual machine, a working virtual machine, which you can upgrade, update anytime you want, right? So that's it. So once you click the convert to virtual machine, so there's that E6i01, we can select that, yes, on that hypervisor, we're going to convert it. And next, well, that's it. Not a long wizard, but it's going to convert it to a virtual working virtual machine. If it was an actual template, you would just do that on a weekend, and you would take all the weekend to really, or you can create a copy of that template, convert it, and work it throughout the week as well, and update everything, and then convert it back to a template. So I'm going to click finish here, and whoa, that was fast. Okay, well, because this machine has no operating system, there was no size there, so it just completed right away. So now it's an empty machine again. If it had operating system and apps, so it would take some time, and then you can power it on and update it the way you want. So that's overall what we can do with the maintenance of the virtual machines. You can create a template, you can have a customized files there that has a lot of flexibility, and then you can clone a virtual machine as well. You can clone from a template as well, and then you can convert a template back to a working virtual machine as well, right? So those were the things that you were supposed to know. If we right click the virtual machine, so there's a snapshot here as well. So you can just create a snapshot, take snapshot here. Then you can also manage snapshots or delete all snapshots as well. So if we right click any of the machine now, so we can go for snapshots. So let's click take snapshot here, and it just with a timestamp, it has put the name of the snapshot. You can also give details. Now, anyone knows what is the proper, when do you take a snapshot? I mean, are there some specific scenarios, or you just take it daily like a backup? Or what's the difference between backup and snapshot? So Kavita says healthy server. Healthy server. So you take a snapshot of a healthy server. It should be daily. Okay. Youngton says like restore point. Okay, it could be that as well. System state at a particular time. If Yanni says. System state means, guys, all the critical files of Windows machine, registry files, and all the other boot files. That's called system state. Olufemi says it's a point in time backup done daily. So Esnia says when any update or change is being done in the server, yes. In case of failure, we can restore. So guys, this is one of the main reasons that you would go for snapshot. You're about to make an upgrade, or you're about to patch. You want to put newest updates there. Then you take a snapshot. If anything happens, you can go back to where it was working fine. So snapshot just takes a configuration of the whole virtual machine at that point in time. At this moment, whatever is configured. And you cannot take from snapshot, oh, I just want one file from the yesterday's snapshot. I want that one file in the subfolder, that Excel file I just need. It doesn't work that way, right? Backup is the main. When you do a backup, you can just actually choose a file from restore a file as well. Snapshot is that if you took you've frozen a configuration, yesterday's configuration you froze there, and today your virtual machine actually started messing up. It has a lot of errors. You can go back to yesterday's configuration, full machine configuration, right? Backup, you have a lot of choices. Oh, I just want that one file from that subfolder. Yes, you can do with backup. So you do backup daily, but snapshots, certain scenarios, the administrators are taking snapshots for very critical machines, but normally you take a snapshot when you are about to upgrade or migrate, right? Then you take a snapshot. So snapshot, you don't take snapshot like backups. Backups are, you take backup every day because it has flexibility. It really properly stores every file. You can restore any of the files back. So, okay. Himan says, snapshot is temporary solution. Recommended is backup. We don't choose snapshot for backup. Exactly. Backup and snapshot totally different. We don't take them daily, snapshots, but we do take backup daily only. Okay, guys. Well, this is what snapshot is. You could have written here anything about that snapshot. About to, suppose we say, about to patch. Suppose I just write that, right? Now, then I'll take a snapshot and press OK. Now I have a peace of mind that I can always come back to this. I just wrote here about to patch, right? I just wrote there in description. You don't have to write anything and press OK as well. And this was completed as well, right? Snapshot. And if we right click again and go back again to the snapshots, so now you see revert to latest snapshot or manage snapshots, right? So latest or last snapshot you can revert to if you want, or click manage snapshots, and manage snapshots will just show you that, oh, okay, so in the snapshots you are here, and maybe you've taken 6 or 7 snapshots here while you were upgrading or migrating. Wherever you were successful, whichever point you were successful, you kept on taking snapshots for that. So you could go back to that point if something wrong happens during patching or migration. Okay, guys, so this is snapshot, and but we normally don't take snapshot daily. We take backup daily snapshots for when you're about to make some big change or patching. So that's there, and then what we can do next is, so we have gone for OVF, OVA, import, export, standard switch, vMotion, distributed switch, cluster. All right. So now what we can do is, it's the big topic actually, the standard switch. And other than that, much of the smaller topics are done. And that was actually much more peaceful today. And well, I understand that Vcenter was giving problems in the last class, so we were too slow. But definitely, okay. So here, what is the virtual standard switch? We're going to talk about that. Oh, Madhuri says we can end for today then, because there's a big topic that we will start, and at the mid of that big topic, we will be that we have to end the class. So, oh, Kavita says, okay, so that's a full grouping together. That's is that political or something? So guys, it depends on the majority, but if anyone says that we need to continue, then I'll continue. Otherwise, yes, we can say bye-bye today and upload your slides. Okay guys, so there's one person who is saying continue. So this means that you all have to convince Paul now. If Paul says end, then I will end. Otherwise, if Paul says continue, then it is continue, right? So seems vApp is created for end of lecture. That's a grouping of students. Okay, wow, man, that was a good one. Ajibola said. So Paul needs samosas. Okay, give recording to Paul. Okay. So what would it be, guys? End or continue? Again. Well, actually, it's democracy. It's majority is authority. So call it a night. Okay. So end. Hey guys, because this as soon as I start talking, I'm creating basic diagrams, and the time will finish. So we can start with VSS and vMotion and distributed switch. The 2 labs we will be able to do, standard switch and vMotion, next class. And guys, one more thing, there's next Wednesday is your quiz, 25 questions, true false, 1 hour. and it's going to be Wednesday evening. Do you have a class Wednesday evening? Wednesday, we have Windows class, Wednesday class. Oh, you have a Wednesday class. Seriously? Which day you don't have? 25 questions, Ammaji. Which day you don't have class? Friday, Thursday. Okay. Thursday and Friday. Okay, guys. Thursday evening, 7, 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. Excuse me. Actually, Thursday, how about afternoon? 7 to 8 p.m.? Okay. Okay, Jagwant said Thursday and Friday are working days for you. Jagwant, you work all day or you work in the evening? Or you can give the exam later until 8:30. Uh-huh. Okay. Friday, I work evening. Okay. 7 to 8 Thursday. Well, how about guys 8:30, 9 to 10? Yeah. 9 to 10 Thursday. When is civic holiday, Jagwan? Okay, Thursday 9 to 10 guys. That's it. Civic Honda? No, holiday. Okay. Okay guys, upload and let's go for so there's next Thursday 9 to 10 quiz. Excuse me. Well, Amarjeet, I don't know who said that he comes at 8:30, so 9 to 10, that's why. 25 questions next Thursday, 9 to 10. Good luck. And it's open book, but it's not going to be easy. So guys, suspend your machines. Only suspend your machines. So see this?
Sir, it's going to be this week or the next week? Okay, so that means the 30th of this month.
30th?
Thank you.
Oh, 30th is the... Okay. Yeah, so 30th. I will be updating also 2 or 3 days before that as well. Yeah, I will email the details. Okay, I will email the details, everyone. Either Thursday or Friday. Okay. Alright, guys. So right click on server 1, power, and suspend guest. Yay. Okay. And then server 2, power, suspend guest. Yay. And 6I1, suspend guest. Okay. And if I do... Thank you. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Guys, so... Alright, good night. And upload your document. It's already there. Week 9. So week 10, Thursday, you're getting the quiz. I'll email you as well. Alright, bye-bye. See you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Alright, bye-bye.
So please create the link to upload the
it's already there.
file.
It's already there. Thank you. Alright, good night.
Thank you, so good night.
Bye-bye. Good night. Alright, good night. Thank you. Bye-bye. Alright, bye-bye. Thank you. Good night.